Testing, 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 testing. See if anybody says anything, Amanda.
I'm trying to get to that chat thread.
Yeah, yeah. See if
Can you
anybody
hear
says
us now?
testing, testing, testing.
36. Yep. Yeah, they can hear us.
Now you
Okay.
can hear us? Okay.
Go team.
All right, here, let's do this while we're at it.
Rich is on the case.
Let's do, hey, good job. Let's do this also while we're doing it. That is, yeah, okay, so let's try to zoom this in some. Oh, yeah, that's much better. Come on.
Zoom.
That's better. Yeah, okay.
Laying the smack down on them early morning.
Yeah, let's get it going on, man. Jesus, it's a typical day, right?
It is.
So what's going on with you, Rich? What's new, man?
I'm tackling tech problems, man, and no.
What you did?
Yeah, I did. We've got Wrestling with Pride coming up this weekend in Paragould, Arkansas.
Oh.
So that'll be Saturday. Don't Be Fooled is the title of that event. So that's going to be a lot of fun, man.
And that's where at?
That's up in Paragould.
Paragould,
At the fairgrounds area up there. So that's going to be a good event. Sunday, I've got to announce in Jacksonville. For Infinity Pro Championship Wrestling, and they're having a big award ceremony out there for their talent.
Oh,
and
okay,
stuff,
okay.
And we're going to the shooting range, man. So
Yes, we are. We are doing that
it's a
Sunday.
jam-packed weekend for
No,
me.
that's going to be, I'm really looking forward to Sunday. I'm even pausing all my showings on that window of time just to go do that. So
Okay.
that's a big deal for me because I struggle not to work all the time. That's just what I do.
Yeah.
Let's get to some news you can use here and see what you may think about it. Okay, so Coachella apparently is going to live stream Friday if you care. A lot of
I don't.
stars on it, but there you go.
Did y'all hear about that, like, horse lady, whatever that's going to be on there?
What's the horse lady?
It was something, I didn't catch it all, and I ended up losing the story, but I saw it this morning on Facebook, and it was something about this musician that's like...
Her name's Horse Girl.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this?
Oh, I don't know. Her name's Horse Girl.
Something is going on with your hands.
Oh. Well.
Oh, no. I think I've seen those somewhere.
Yeah. So,
You lost your hands here.
I lost my hands
This is
here.
great.
I lost my
You know what
hands
that
here.
reminds me of? You ever seen that SNL skit
With
with the old singers?
The small hands?
Yeah. That's such a great
Well,
bit.
I have to entertain myself new ways these days because I don't do methamphetamine
Yeah, no, that's
or
positive.
crime. So,
Yeah.
or, road rage. I try to, like, stay in my lane,
Yeah, you
that kind of
just
stuff. Because I like life.
Try to live right,
I do.
so to speak.
I have to entertain myself.
Well, that is entertaining.
yeah.
That's good selfies right there.
Yeah.
Here you go, man.
We're gonna have a good time with these.
What is this?
This is Horse Girl.
Horse Girl. Now, what is Horse
Okay, I've
Girl?
never
She
seen
went
her.
from farm to Coachella. Apparently, she's a German musician DJ.
Oh.
Her fantastic. She opened up to people recently about her fantastical backstory and what
being
it's
a
like
horse.
working in the music industry after years in the animal kingdom. And apparently, she
Shut
is half horse, half woman, and
Okay.
that is
well,
her.
Let me just tell you what
Okay.
she's done. What she's done is take a page from A, Lady Gaga, and B, Doja Cat. Doja Cat, her
Dressed
first,
like a cat,
was
Met Gala or
her.
something.
Well, that was, Lady Gaga dressed. She wore a meat
meat,
dress. She
yeah.
did all kinds of stuff. But the Doja Cat got. She blew up on the internet with a song called "I'm a Cow."
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a viral song. Yeah, I'm a cow.
No.
Yeah, look it up. Look up Doja Cat, I'm a cow.
Nuh-uh.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to let me change my
and
hands
that
real
was
quick.
a real viral video, and that blew her up. So this is all she's doing is just making it more modern. Now she must identify and live as a horse. But yeah, there's Doja Cat right there. I'm a cow, bitch.
Are we
Boom.
looking that up? Because let me see. if
No,
I can-
he did pull it up. It's funny. Look, there it is. See? Yeah, no, she's definitely a cow. Anyway, we'll move
What
on here.
the
Yeah.
hell?
The
Okay,
the
well.
Okay,
truck-
no.
What?
I need
What? Do you,
I need that right there.
There you
yeah.
go.
I need that. Yeah. Yeah.
The administration is freezing $2 billion in funding for three colleges. Two U.S. officials told the Times over $1 billion in funding for Cornell, $790 for Northwestern, frozen funding, mostly grants and contracts, Department of Agriculture, Defense, other agencies. there's some kind of issue. Oh, okay. So the anti-Israel protests. There's, I guess, stuff going on there. Let's see. If you're single with a pet, research says, hey, that's a good thing. Dogs are just as good for you as human beings. The study also finds the joys of owning a pet are equivalent to getting an extra $90,000 a year. No, it ain't.
Absolutely not.
No, the hell it ain't.
Wait, what?
Absolutely not.
No, the hell it ain't.
90,000?
The hell it ain't. The hell it ain't. No, there ain't a single. I love Rousey. I wouldn't trade her for 90. There, other than my very first dog, every dog I ever had, I'd trade for 90 grand any day of the week, and never said bye. Just okay, 90 grand. Let's go.
Yeah.
Does that make me terrible?
Do you want
I don't
them
know.
both?
Yeah, all of my dogs for 90 is my
yeah.
Y'all are horrible
You know,
with these comments this morning.
we're terrible people. Oh, them? You mean?
Oh, yeah.
What do they say?
They didn't have them.
Everybody's going off about the horse girl.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm a
Yeah.
snake.
Yeah, the little doggy says, well, I'm a snake. A snake even.
Yeah, no.
Brandon says they usually call him horseman.
Yeah. Oh, do they? Yeah, I'm sure they do. Yeah.
Little doggy said pony boy.
Yeah. There's plenty of
I'm a lobster.
jokes.
I think everybody had their
Yeah, you have
Folgers and
lobster
Wheaties this
claws.
morning, man.
This show is off the rails.
That's what I'm
Here, let me
saying.
just freeze. All right. The resentencing for
New record,
Menendez.
9 minutes.
A court hearing concerning the Menendez brothers set for this week. Lyle and Eric have been serving life sentences, for the murder of their parents. Last October, the district attorney recommended resentencing them. They claim they were sexually abused.
How can you resentence?
I don't really know how it works there. Anyway, the new DA plans to ask a judge to withdraw the resentencing, claiming they've shown no remorse. So they were going to get out. Maybe they're not going to get out. Hey, sorry.
I'm
What? What are you confused about?
Well, I thought once you were sentenced, that was it.
I don't.
Especially when it comes to murder. Didn't they make like a couple movies about how you can't?
Well, they've made some movies about them.
Well, those are all real and factual.
I don't know that. That's my point. I don't know. I remember watching. Remember that Stephen Avery story? What is it called? Making a Murderer. Mm-hmm. You're killing me with the lot.
Dude, oh my God.
What?
I'm sitting here watching, and I'm
I feel
cracking
like
up because
I am dealing
with our
two ADD kids in
No,
the back
with
seat
our-
of my car right now. What the is going on? What is it, Rich?
with our line of sight,
Yeah.
I can't really see
Oh,
Amanda. But then, because I talk to everybody while they're commenting. Hey, good
And so
morning,
you just
everything, and
looked
I
up and
answer
saw
back.
her lobster
So
and-
I'm looking and I'm just hearing you talk and watching Amanda with her little lobster arms, and I'm
Yeah.
dying over here, bro.
Brandon,
I'm trying to keep it together, but I can't.
Well, I just didn't. All right, let's move on to this. According to, are you all right over there, Rich? Rich is losing it. Everybody.
I'm not. I was not
You are
ready
not all
this
right.
morning.
You weren't ready for
I
this,
was
were you?
not ready.
When it comes to candy-filled holidays, kids get to have the
Candy-filled
fun.
holidays?
Yeah, Easter. They're talking
Oh,
about.
pilled. Oh,
Filled, yeah.
I'm sorry.
It says that apparently nearly 2/3 of grown-ups also want an Easter basket. 3 in 5 would love to get their own Easter basket. Well, go buy yourself one.
Exactly.
You know it ain't just going to show up, right? I mean,
Well, we get our Easter baskets the day after whenever everything is like half price and 75% off.
Is that the way to do it?
Well, I mean, that's how we grown-ups do Valentine's Day, right? Like, I
Is
mean,
it?
I don't
I've
know.
never heard this, but I like this.
Well,
This
why
is
am I
new to
paying
me.
full price?
No, that's a great question. That is, hey, don't tear up the mics. It's Happy Tariff Day, I guess. It's Tariff Day. They announced it last week, went into effect at midnight. That includes a 104% tariff on Chinese imports. Import tariffs on China didn't start out that large. They kind of stepped up. Are you rubbing your claws there? The press secretary
Scissoring.
said the again. Here we go. We're just out again.
I'm done. Oh my
Happy
goodness.
Wednesday.
Yeah, no, it's definitely Wednesday. Let's see what else do we have here.
Oh my God,
I think
little doggy.
I'm almost done with the news. Hey, after severe flooding in Clifton, Kentucky, pets stranded when their owners were evacuated were rescued by a local guy, Cody Smith. He used a boat he borrowed from work. And he and a friend navigated the neighborhood, saved as many cats and dogs, some of which were trapped in the flooded homes. That's pretty cool. That's a real cool thing to do.
Did they save any lobsters?
No, they cooked them. Last Saturday night, Michigan State troopers used an infrared camera to locate a missing 2-year-old boy. He wandered from his house in just a diaper, temperatures in the 40s. 15-minute aerial search, officers spotted the kid in a ditch near the highway using high-tech heat cams. So thanks to that, they found him real fast, got him to the hospital.
That's good. Did
Yeah.
they get the parents
Good job, Michigan.
for child neglect or endangerment? Any CPS involvement?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I don't know how long he was gone.
Yeah.
You know, that does pose a great question.
The people want to see Amanda peel an orange with her
Yeah, I
pictures.
saw that.
Yeah, that would be great. You'll
We'll
see how
see.
that works. She could hold it,
may-
but she can't.
Hold on, let's see what I can do.
No, she's going to have to tape a knife to it. A permanent makeup artist in England is offering free 3D tattoos to breast cancer survivors as a way to support their healing after mastectomies. Using traditional tattooing equipment, she creates realistic breast tattoos for patients who often face delays in getting similar care through the healthcare system. Because, as you know, in England, healthcare is a little bit different there. You do have to wait a while. But she does provide free monthly sessions to restore confidence and a sense of normalcy for women in recovery.
Did she try?
So I figured if I changed out my hands to my pirate hooks,
Yeah, you could possibly impale the orange.
Exactly.
That did not work. The orange seems to have left the desk.
The orange is runaway.
Yeah. Blink-182 has announced their Missionary Impossible tour. The classic lineup, Mark Hoppus, Tom DeLonge, and Travis Barker.
That's the only one I care about.
Well, it's going to be in Tampa, Charleston, Raleigh, Virginia Beach. It's going to conclude October 4th in Palm Desert, California. No mention of Rogers nor Little Rock.
Yeah, there is. I saw it.
Is it?
Yep.
I'd said here. It may very well be there. Are they going there?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's cool. That is cool. Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace are co-headlining a tour this year with special guest Return to Dust. That starts the 29th in Ridgedale, Missouri. That's not far from here. Wraps up in Durant, Oklahoma. So you can bet they're going to be near here if they're not already scheduled to be here. Need to take a look.
I just want to see Travis Barker.
Why?
Because he's hot.
Really?
I think he's so hot.
I don't even get it.
I don't either.
I
don't either because he's scrawny and I would never actually want to do anything with him because I like
I don't know.
I like something I can climb.
But I hear what you're saying. I mean, Laura, for some reason, gets that same odd feeling about Lil Wayne, and I'm like, I don't get that either.
No.
You know, I know. I mean, there's just some people I don't get the allure to.
I don't get it either, but there's just something. It's all the tattoos. It's the drumming. Like, that man can keep a beat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, he's got a Kardashian keeping his beat now.
I keep forgetting about that. That is a little problematic.
Yeah. A 55-year-old mom from England was escorted off a flight by police after eating Pringles from the in-flight snack cart before paying. Oh, we talked about this yesterday. I don't know why it's back in here, but yeah.
More developments.
$9. $9. That's what it was
For
about.
like 4 chips.
It was $9. She couldn't. Her card failed or whatever, and didn't have cash. They escorted her off the plane. Yeah.
Y'all
bad as that.
tripping.
How is that such a big story that it made it into the news 2 days in a row?
I don't know. A tourist at
not be
Yellowstone
enough.
sentenced to a week in jail for venturing too close to a famous thermal feature. They pled guilty to trespassing in a restricted area near a geyser. Not just any geyser, of course, Old Faithful. You're supposed to stay on the boardwalk trails, but, you know, she needed a better, closer thing for a selfie. You know what I mean? So she got within about 10 feet of it, and she got caught on video breaking the law. So good job. This is not good news for Russell Brand anyway. He's hit with the allegation of rape, indecent assault, sexual assault. The incident said to have occurred between 1999 and 2005. Now, Warner Brothers is turning over outtake footage from the movie Arthur in 2011 to assist police with their investigation.
What?
Reportedly, there's 4 to 8 hours of footage there. The victim, referred to as Jane Doe, claims he exposed himself to cast members before assaulting her in a bathroom on the set. I do know that the Russell brand now is not the Russell brand of then. That Russell brand was very chemically addicted and did a lot of bad shit. So.
Was that when he was active?
Yeah, when he was using drugs and
Yeah.
alcohol pretty aggressively.
I didn't remember when he got
He's
when he
been
got
sober
sober.
for several years
Yeah.
now, but I don't. But that may very well. I don't know. That it's possible.
Yeah.
He was pretty wild.
Get Him
then.
to the Greek was
What a great movie.
a
That.
hilarious movie.
Yeah, Forgetting Sarah,
Sarah
Marshall's
Marshall,
pretty good too.
So good.
Yeah, it is.
So good.
All right, let's talk about winners and losers in the NCAA. And were you surprised yesterday about the firing of who was it? Oh my God, why am I losing my mind?
I mean,
The coach. Oh, the Denver Nuggets coach. They fired the Denver Nuggets coach and the GM. That's 2 years from winning an NBA championship. They did have a rough 10 games, but I'm like, man, this guy's number 3 in the division, and they just won a ring 2 years ago, and you're firing him already?
wow.
That's crazy. There must
Right.
be something more to it.
Something,
but,
yeah.
but NCAA men's basketball stuff, here are some big winners and losers. Winners, the SEC, the conference had a record 14 teams in the tournament, 7 in the Sweet 16, had both Florida and Auburn in the Final Four, and ended with a national championship to their credit. That's, again, the SEC does dominate often. Will Richard, the sleeper hero of the game, 18 points, almost 70% from three-point. Walter Clayton Jr., first half struggles. Forget that, because his tournament performance and clutch shooting in the second half was amazing. 4 number ones. Everybody loves a Cinderella, but you did have a Final Four with all number 1 seeds, and it was pretty damn great. Losers, Houston's title hopes. They're going to be gone for a while. They're not going to be that good of a team. When the Cougars allowed less than 70 points, they were 33-0 going into the final. But maybe this wasn't their last shot for a while. But it's got to be frustrating since over the past 5 seasons, he's led them to a record of 160-24 with no championship to show for it. I mean, that's an incredible record. The buzzer beater would have been fitting, but it was a heartbreaking moment, that final possession for Houston. Yeah, man, 2 really just bad turnovers is what cost them. And 3-point shooting in the first half, both teams struggled. Florida's 4-14. Houston was 2 of 14. This is a wild occurrence. I've never watched a rugby game in my life, but most of us have been to an event where professional parachutists can be part of pregame activities. In France, a rugby match, things went wrong. The game ended up having to be delayed about 40 minutes. French Army paratroopers were going to make a ceremonial entrance, but one of them had the misfortune of getting snagged on the stadium's roof. And even fire crews, but eventually they used a crane to get him down. So that's a pretty wild occurrence. Stephen A. Smith is now saying he might run for president.
Shut up.
Do you believe this?
Hit the button. What? Give me the button.
I don't even know what that said. But anyway, apparently he's been talking about it. He said he has no choice but to get more serious about it. Now,
Yes, he
I
does.
don't know if he really is going to
He
do
has
it.
more choices. He
I-
could shut the up.
I think it's funny.
Show
think
up
it's
with
hilarious.
lobster
I'm like,
arms.
look, Steve, you're a great writer, you're a great talker, and you're a great TV guy. I don't know exactly. You don't exactly have that much business experience or other experience that I might lean on for that.
Yeah.
Maybe run a city or town or be a governor or do a few things first before you just jump in on Prez.
No.
Well, what? You don't want him to run?
I think he could just shut the up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I've got something great for us here. First, let me mention this. If you are looking for a vehicle, Fitz Auto is the place to go. And I'm going to tell you something, man. Tariffs. Yeah, prices are going up on the new cars. They're already $49,000 on average for a new car. The smart business is late models, low miles. You get the depreciation's gone, so you get all the value and all the benefit. That's what Fitz Auto does for you. Go over to 8421 Stagecoach Road in Little Rock, or just go look at their inventory online. They've got a lot of pictures, all the prices. They ain't afraid. Go over to fitzauto.com. Now,
I've been eyeballing over there.
man, they've got a lot of good stuff. They really do.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a truck, to
Yeah.
do my hauling now since
Man.
I've lost my truck. So I've been eyeballing them. They did have a nice, pretty Charger over there too, but
They had, I was standing over there the other day, and I was talking to my friend Bill, and
Bill Fitz.
no, Bill Blanchard. Bill Fitz died actually a few years ago, but Bill Blanchard, and I was standing there talking to him, and this guy come up, and he was going to buy a truck from him because he had gone to look at trucks, even at a used it was a dealership,
Yeah.
car dealership. They had some used ones, but he said he couldn't find what he needed for under $70,000. And I was like, man, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's crazy, man. Are you serious right now? A pickup truck. I mean, that's how expensive they are, y'all.
That is insane.
Crazy.
Yeah. But let's move past that to this. Man, I was super excited yesterday. Look, right now, this time of year in Arkansas, weather is everything. All right? You just
Yeah,
talked
man.
about
Oh
it,
my
right?
gosh.
You just talked about how important
Yeah.
that is to you, how triggering it can be.
It was, yeah, last week was really terrifying for me. I know people missed the audio earlier, but so January 21st, 1999, that big, huge swath of tornadoes that came through downtown, we were in that.
Right.
And so ever since then, I've always had a little, some PTSD with that. And so this past weekend was really, really rough. And I stayed glued to, the Arkansas weather watchers, storm watchers, KRK,
Right.
Todd, everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I was all over it because, oh my God, everywhere I was, it just seemed like I was in the eye of something.
Yeah, no, and Rich, I know not being here from here originally that this weather probably is a little foreign to you at times.
Yeah, I mean, and really also being in Hot Springs for pretty much my whole since I moved down here in the first place. So
Yeah.
when storms come in there, I'm always used to them hitting the mountains and going up to the village. We may
Right.
get some rain and stuff, but
now you're seeing
yeah, now I'm in Jacksonville, and this weekend
and things happen.
it
Yeah.
scared me, man. I was
Listen,
Were you stuck? Because I saw 57 or 60, whatever it is
yeah,
now.
dude, it was flooded. That was 3 miles away from my place. Yeah,
I know it was flooded by our place, not at my house, but a couple of roads over there. Well, because of that, we were able to, thanks to Rich, he made a connection for us and got us connected with Arkansas Weather Watchers. And I was able to have the guys on to interview.
Nice.
And talk to them about how they are doing what they're doing, because it is a very unique thing that some people haven't seen yet. And I think you're going to be, if you're not familiar with Arkansas Weather Watchers, I bet every one of you are going to add them after this.
Do it.
and real quick, I
Yes.
just want to shout out to them, by the way, for their coverage over this weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was many times that I was getting warnings from them
Them.
3 to 5 minutes before they were saying it on TV.
They stayed on my Facebook. They stayed, their channel stayed up.
Well, and I think when we talk to them here, you're going to see why, what these guys are about. And I think you'll be like, yeah, this is what I want in my life. So check it out here real quick, okay? Pretty excited. On Patrick and the People, we like to promote local individuals who are doing great things. And I'm joined here with Derek Smith. He's the founder and president of Arkansas Weather Watchers, as well as Cameron Barnes, the vice president, producer, and chief forecaster, if I am correct. Is that right?
That is absolutely correct. Couldn't say it better myself.
All right, man. I'm so excited to have you on because it's really a new phenomena, having a unique and separate weather entity that operates outside of the news system. And what made you guys decide to go into that?
So I was gonna say, Derek, you.
So, how this started was back in 2014 when we had the Mayflower, all the Bologna, all that stuff.
Yes.
Which was a
I was gonna say,
ironically supercharged pattern that we just got through dealing with.
Right.
And the number one story was whenever we talked to people or whenever I went around and talked to people, they were like, we had no warning because, by that point, it had gone through, areas of Chenal, Ferndale,
Mm-hmm.
places like that. So your TV towers had already been taken out. So they had no way to get that proper warning. And the common phrase that was always said was, "I wish I had another way to to receive weather because I don't watch TV. I don't have time to sit down and stop. I'm always on the go."
Yeah,
And back in 2014, obviously Facebook was still kind of getting into the new live
Yeah.
stream era.
I
that's
was gonna
right.
say you were like right before the cusp of like
Yeah,
all
you
the
you,
Technology.
you,
technology
you
now, and
you were
it,
on the cutting
yeah,
edge. Yeah, you're right there with
yeah,
me out
and
there. Yeah.
Derek, the funny thing about that is, um, yeah, we kind of got this together in 2014, but I've known you like personally, I think 2012,
Yeah.
because we had it was called the Weather Mafia group, and all of us together was just kind of like, talking about the weather and just kind of, your weather enthusiasts, just kind of talking about what's going on, and that's kind of how we met. So yeah,
Yep.
AWW started in 2014, but I've known you, I think, an
Long
extra
before
two,
that.
long before that.
So I'm guessing that both of you have had a long-term interest in weather since you were young. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Now,
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
So
what were either
mine,
of you motivated by a particular event?
yes. So mine was actually the March of '97 event. Many Arkansans remember that. It was like places like College Station, downtown got hit,
Mm-hmm.
places like that. At that time, I lived with my grandparents over on Woodrow. So we saw the wall cloud, we saw all the debris, and they're like, "Derek, get inside, get inside." I'm like, "No, look."
Right.
And then in
Right.
January of '99, it happened again. And I'm like, I have to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. January of '99 was the EF5 that hit. Well, it hit a large swath, but it was about a mile wide, and out Arch Street area, which is where I lived at the time. Of course, they ended up declaring martial law because to stop looting. But military, anything else, I've never seen destruction like that. I saw houses upside down, vehicles in trees. I mean, it looked like a bomb went off there. It was crazy, man. So do you focus more on just the forecast side? Do you go out? How do you, put everything together? Is it more technological? Are you in the field more? Do you chase? What all do you do?
That's
So
all him.
So I'll just kind of give you like a breakdown of it. So we kind of do like a combination of everything pretty much. We just now, recently got, Jamie, she's our storm chaser. We recently just got her back out in the field and everything. And, we have people on behind the scenes that do the forecasts pretty much throughout a day by day process. We have a group that we sit down, we just kind of look at data and kind of look at what's coming up and everything like that. And to add on, so you guys talking about, the March, what was it, the 99?
Yeah.
The 99 event, January or March, which one was it?
January '99.
January
Yeah.
99. Okay. So, one of the reasons why I partnered up with Derek is because not only that, but I grew up in El Dorado in South Arkansas. And, all your news stations cover Little Rock, they cover Central Arkansas
Right.
and all that. Once you get south of, I'd say 270, all that coverage goes away. I mean,
Okay.
you are kind of in that gray zone down
That
there.
no
where it's
man's
like,
land.
that no man's land. Like you're at the mercy of the sky down there because it's like you either get it from one station or the other, and if both stations are covering their respective metropolitan area and something happens down there, I mean, you're just at the mercy down there.
So
That's kind of another reason why we decided to do it too, is because not only to help promote more severe weather awareness, but to also help out the smaller towns too that don't get the mainstream coverage.
Kind of a
and
coverage
like
desert,
that.
if you will, in that area. So
Correct.
you're
Yep.
filling that
Yeah.
need
Correct.
that's not there.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's fantastic
Yes, sir.
because I think that it's long been said that moments save lives when it comes to these kind of storms, right? How do you when you're looking at these storms that are coming in? Let's say the one that recently happened, we had a lot of rain and flooding and whatnot. How do you know when you're looking at it, man, I need to err on the side of caution? How do you find that fine line between, oh my God, and here's what's going on,
So that is, I can take this one, or you got
You
it.
are on it.
Yeah. So
Because while I was camping, you were dealing with the outbreak city. So with this one,
all right. So to kind of break down how how we kind of see that stuff coming is we look at model data pretty much 24/7. Now I'm gonna tell you something. You live by the models, you die by the models. That's just how it is. That's how you
Sure.
work with any kind of data. So it also boils down to pattern recognition because it's not just in today's age everything's about technology and data and everything. Well, you've got two guys that have been born and raised here in Arkansas that have seen every single event. Your 97, your 99,
Yeah.
your 2011, your 2014. It's about pattern recognition.
Right.
And some storms that you can see coming, you use that previous experience. You're like, hey, this is awfully familiar to what happened back then. Might want to err on the side of caution, like, hey, let these guys know what's going on. Every two systems are different in their own way, but there are certain systems, kind of like how it was, I'll give you an example. March 14th this year, 2025, tornado outbreak Northeast Arkansas. Then we had the event last Wednesday, that looked awfully familiar to said outbreak. So you use that experience from covering said outbreak, and you're like, okay, hey,
Yeah, it could
it's
produce.
not going to hit the exact same town or exact same city and stuff like that, but you recognize that pattern. You're like, okay, hey, this is what's getting ready to happen here. This is your setup, and everybody needs to be aware. So that's kind of how we do things here.
Okay.
We'll sit down and 24/7. We'll look at data, and then before we see a big event coming on the planner, we're like, hey, who has experience with this pattern? Who has seen
Right.
this pattern before in the past? And then we go from there.
I don't know. I don't have the knowledge nor education that you guys do, but I have lived here most of my life and followed most of the storms that have hit. One thing that at least anecdotally I feel like I've observed, and I'd love to hear your input on it, but I know from the time I was young until about a decade ago, man, if a tornado was going to hit in Arkansas, you could bet Saline County was going to get burned. That was every single time, man, every time, okay? I don't care which direction, Saline County would get hit, But it seems like over the past decade that the line moved north some, and it started bypassing us more and hitting more the Valonia area, the Conway area, and like that. Is that a fair observation?
Yeah. So I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, so it really just depends on like pattern shift because you go through periods in meteorology of pattern shifts, and geography changes and stuff like that. Arkansas toward Tornado Alley has always been at the base of the Ouachitas, base of the Ozarks, kind of right where at the foothills, Saline County, Garvin County, Arkadelphia, I-30, 67, 167, up into north Arkansas.
I-40, I-30.
Right.
That's what it is.
But
Yeah.
over time, what has happened is your Gulf is always a little bit warmer, so those fronts are able to come a little bit further north, and therefore that creates more what we call a capping inversion. And so wherever that cap breaks is where your storm forms, and
Okay.
it gets into a better environment.
Right. So
And
it's
you know, to
breaking a
add to
little
that-
further north is what you're saying, and thus
Correct.
far,
Yeah.
or because of that
Correct,
warmer.
Because every year, because how we get our severe weather here in Arkansas is it's the Gulf, and all your moisture, your warm air comes from the Gulf. And
Which Gulf were you
we
speaking
notice
of?
over the
Was that the Gulf of America, or I never mind. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize. I
knew it was going there.
I'm sorry, man. I'm just having a little fun. Go ahead, man.
But anyways, so when we have that set up like that, I've noticed, over the last couple of years that it's been warming up more, and then I've noticed the north, and I'll be honest with you, Northeast Arkansas has been taking a hit.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Obviously,
Yeah.
Central Arkansas, there was a period where it was always Little Rock, it was always Conway, Mayflower, Hot
Yeah.
Springs. these last couple of years, it's always been Northeast Arkansas, and it's just it's been weird to kind of see that.
Well, it's been weird to me because
yeah.
I spent half of every season in some kind of shelter somewhere growing up, and so now I'm watching people in other counties who are ducking and dodging, and I'm like, wow. I mean, not that I'm not happy not to, but I hate it for them too. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I'm like, I appreciate the reprieve, but let me ask you this. Twister, you love the movie. Everybody does. Who doesn't love it?
Absolutely love it.
But
I watch it every night before Spear Event.
Right. Is the most unbelievable scene the one where their belt tied to the pipe?
Yes.
Because I'm pretty sure that just rip them right
so
off.
many questions about that.
Yeah.
No, we do not recommend people doing that.
If you can't tie down
Yeah.
to a pipe
Yeah.
and get sucked up, you will be sucked up with it.
Yeah, you go up with
the
pull the pipe.
To hold you.
No, that's fantastic. I love the movie. It's just like Armageddon. There's not a lick of science that's any good in it. But but I love the movie.
Especially a pipe that's only like what a couple dozen feet in the ground.
Yeah.
Because one thing you mentioned, was why we're able to do what we're doing, considering differently from what, say, Sinclair and Nexstar, like other media outlets. Not take away, from like our Channel 4s, 11, 7, stuff like that. But here at AWW Media Group, what we're able to do is we don't have that overhead. We don't have all the political stuff.
Right. You're just focused on the weather. You're calling balls and strikes.
I've also, we have friends that are in said media groups, your Sinclairs and stuff like that. And I've always heard that there's always a limit because, you have your markets and stuff like that. And it's not just here in Arkansas. That's like, your Alabamas, your Mississippis and stuff like that. It's like they have a market of there are certain counties that they cover. And that's just how it is. And then once you get out of said market, you switch powers over to another channel, or you switch powers over to somebody else, and if they can't cover it, there's no coverage. And it's not on the person that's covering the weather; it's just
where the weather coverage reaches. Yeah, it's just where it reaches. Yeah. No, it's
how everything is.
Same with radio. I mean, you only go so far. At some point, it starts breaking up. And it's no different with TV and. You may be picking up all of a sudden Tennessee news or Oklahoma news, whatever the case may be, and not be specific.
Which is why the advantage of us being social media, being stream-based, your Roku, your Fire TV, really helps.
Well, it definitely made a difference in my family, and I'll tell you why. We really don't watch traditional broadcast television anymore. Only maybe the Super Bowl or something like that, and normally I'm going somewhere to do that.
Exactly.
Right. And I got the stupid antenna and I'm like, man, this is just, I remember that when I was a kid. I hated it then, I hate it now. It never worked. As soon as you walk away, it's messed up again, So having you guys on my Roku, having you guys on my Roku makes it easy. And I know that I'm going to get all of the state, not just part of it, and that's good because I have friends and family in many different areas of the state, Man, this is fantastic. I'm so thankful that you guys took some time to talk to us about this. As you guys continue to grow and expand, what can we expect to see from you? What's the next frontier?
So really, our next big thing that we are starting on. So obviously, we just became an official media group this year. Something we have been working on for a few years now.
Yeah.
Obviously, our expansion to Apple TV is coming. Our expansion as well to having a weather camera network around the state. We're currently in talks, with a couple different companies about that. I know several different outlets around the state. I know a couple are going to be going up here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Laredo, I think, potentially Hamburg. Hopefully our one in Silent Springs finally gets going. And then, our goal is to have a 75 county camera network around the state, mainly focusing on your smaller towns.
Right.
Because obviously there's so much coverage in the metro.
Right.
So you
Well,
go outside
everybody's got a
Jonesboro.
camera in the metro, right?
Right,
Right.
exactly. Everybody's
You
got one of
go
those
outside.
devices.
Yeah.
You go outside of Jonesboro. You go outside of Little Rock. You go outside of Memphis. There's nothing.
Right.
And Fayetteville. I always forget those folks up there on the hill. Not intentionally.
Right. I
Okay.
get it.
But you know, there's a lack of view around the state, especially in the Watchtogs, the Ozarks, and South Arkansas.
So this would give you
Our
not
goal is to
only,
change that.
it would not only give you the radar and the other technology, as well as, individuals who may be in the area, but a constant vigil of a camera that you can see, and look
correct.
at physically, like out the window.
True.
No, I think
And,
that's
you know,
fantastic.
Yeah, and kind of add on to kind of echo on what Derek was talking about, is those folks that are outside of those metropolitan areas, if let's say like we had something coming out of Louisiana and Northeast Texas. I grew up in El Dorado. I knew whenever we had something come out from, I'm trying to remember, it would be the Ruston area. We would have something come out from there. It would always be a problem for us here in El Dorado and South Arkansas.
Right.
So, to have a camera down there will not only just give us, the visual of the sky and see what's coming, it also will help the National Weather Service. Because National Weather Service, they're the ones that, work tirelessly, put the watches out, put the warnings out,
Right.
give us the guidance that we need to help broadcast for the state of Arkansas. So, it would help them out too. And it'd be a situation where if on radar, they can't see rotation, but if our camera, let's say if it's like in Magnolia and you see this monster wedge coming out from Louisiana, well, they can slap a warning on it without having to go through radar and all that protocol. And in turn, you speed up that process of getting people in the shelter. And then in return, you help save lives in that way as well.
So it sounds like to me, and boy, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you've carved out, and you're in the process of carving out a unique total state coverage, county by county, where that everyone is represented. You can quickly get and disseminate information visually, technologically, audibly, obviously, to those people and everyone in the surrounding areas. And it seems like if this continues to work, this could really be a great model to continue to expand. It seems like maybe.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And that's kind of, our thing is that, not only are we doing the camera project, we just brought on a pilot as well, who's going to be helping us assist in kind of aerial views,
Sure.
post damage.
I could just see though people like somewhere on our borders where that they don't have that coverage, just like we don't, and all of a sudden here are the weather watchers showing up and saying, yeah, we got Ruston, you know what I mean, or whatever it may be.
Oh yeah,
and
that's kind of what Cameron, like a 10-year plan, basically.
Yeah. So the plan
umbrella.
is that eventually, because we had talked about this, in the last 2 to 3 years, we've had so many people, not only for just here in Arkansas, but your Louisiana, your Texas, your Louisiana, Texas, your Mississippi, your Oklahomas, your Tennessees. We've had people from surrounding states ask, like, hey, where do I find coverage like this?
Yep.
And there are some folks out there, outside of the state that do an amazing job,
Sure,
with doing that. But our eventual goal is to have the Mid-South and the lock.
yeah,
But,
I could
in a
see.
situation where it's like, if something's coming from Texas or Oklahoma, we give those folks a heads up, and then obviously we cover home in Arkansas, and then we're able to track it as it moves east, and
pass it off.
Right.
Let's say we're able to pass it off to one of our media outlets in Mississippi, Alabama,
Right.
Tennessee. We're actually in talks with a group of Michigan right now who are wanting to come under our umbrella in the next couple of years.
Right. That's
it's very neat to see, because you're transitioning out of, like you said, your TV media,
right. Your
into
traditional broadcast.
your streaming media.
Well, that's just where everything is now, to be honest with you. The overwhelming majority of people I know, I mean, they just don't. Nobody needs a TV guide anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you got this,
Right.
you got this.
That's right. So I have one last question for you, and this is just a random, silly, dumb question. All right, but you know, in all, I'm sure that being weather people, you spend copious amounts of time outdoors. You've probably been all over the state of Arkansas. I'd venture to say in most counties, I bet. Probably in some areas that other people have never seen. Have you ever come across, or do you believe in Bigfoot?
In the what?
And Bigfoot. I'm gonna say yes. I think he's somewhere out there in the movies. I'm gonna say yes.
You're going to say yes.
I'm
Okay.
gonna say yes to that one. I think he's somewhere out there in the Washita Mountains somewhere. You know, we went out there in West Arkansas chasing,
Right.
and I could have sworn I heard
So-
some stuff in the woods, man.
Funny story.
Where was that one?
Yeah,
I know where you're
no,
getting at.
hold on. When I was a teenager, I got stuck. My truck broke down
Okay.
up in northern Searcy County.
Okay.
In the middle of nowhere.
It's gonna be fun.
I could have sworn I saw Bigfoot.
Yeah. It could have
Never
been.
know.
Like I said, we were out chasing one time out there in West Arkansas, and man, I swear, no data, nothing. I told him we went outside and looked. I was like, man, you hear that bus out there? Like, we need to go.
You know, well, we have a guy that he comes in. He's a guest on our show regularly from a podcast called Drunken Cryptids, and
Man.
yeah, and
They
those
follow us.
yeah.
I recognize that
Yeah,
name.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I recognize that name. Yeah.
And he's an enthusiast. He goes all over the country. He speaks. He does things like that. So I always have to ask anytime I'm around people who are outdoors on his behalf, just to see if you what your take might be. You know, so I can tell him, no, they ain't seen one. No, I'm kidding.
It gets a little hairy out there in the woods, out there in Washington.
You know, but that could just be a meth head. Did I say? I'm sorry, man. I apologize. That's wrong of me. Guys, listen, I want to thank you very much for coming on. Listen, you know, I know you're both very busy. You got a lot going on. Goodness, I'm sure you have more than enough on your plate. But periodically, we could check in and touch base with you and have you back on as a guest. I think that'd be awesome. And if ever we can get you in here to the studio, it'd be even better.
Absolutely.
beautiful.
I will tell you what, June, July, and August is the best time of year.
Yeah, it's
for that.
the deadest time for you. It's just hot. Everybody knows that's all it is hot.
Everybody
That's it.
knows it. And
Yep.
you know, I would love to do something in the future where, like, you know, in the summer, once we get past, you know, this spring has probably been one of the most active springs we've had probably the entire time we've been doing this. So I would love to have some sort of show to kind of like recap of what happened. Hopefully,
Mhm.
with us being early April, hopefully the worst is behind us. But
Yeah.
you know, we still got the rest of the month of May to get through.
That's very true.
Beware
the
May.
summer. Right.
Well, you know what I'm going to start doing here? I don't have a network affiliation. It never made sense for me here streaming, but you know what I am? From now on, I'm going to use Arkansas Weather Watchers as our weather source. So if I talk about weather, I'm just going to cite you guys as our source. How's that sound?
That
Love it.
sounds amazing.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
All right, man. Hey, I appreciate you guys and look forward to seeing you again. All right.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, yes, sir.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
All right, man. That was a great conversation with those guys, man. They
Man, that
are-
was.
Yeah, man. You know, I really think they've got it going on. I think they've got a really good vision of what they're delivering, and they're doing it well. If you have not checked out Arkansas Weather Watchers, go online and check them out. I mean, it's real easy to do.
Yeah, man. Facebook, YouTube, look them up. They're a great group of guys. I'm glad I could get you all connected.
No,
man,
I
'cause
am
that
too.
was, especially with the recent round of storms, it's just perfect timing for us to sit down and help spread the word about them, man, and you know, get the word out more that's out there.
So let me set the table here real quick. You doing all right there? You got your oranges going?
I am. I had to put my original hands on for a minute so I could peel the thing, but now we are back to
That's great. That's
What
great.
I
Well,
did
while
in
you
Minus
enjoy
today.
your,
Is that like
your
using
charcuterie board,
chopsticks?
so here's the
well, if we're gonna like mutate into things or the
Yeah.
apocalypse or whatever, I'm gonna have to adapt.
you're working on your adaptation skills. Yeah, I
Absolutely.
appreciate that.
No.
So, you know, as we get more and more followers and we reach more people, which, you know, the unique thing about streaming versus just a broadcast is that you have the ability to reach people who you have never heard of you, never seen you. And so that happens, especially as you get more videos and things out there, you know. So we're on TikTok, and we had a video on TikTok get a little heat yesterday.
Yeah.
And so what we were talking about, we were having a conversation about. Well, my wife had gone to get Tyler some Nikes for his birthday. He's a shoe guy, and she was talking about some of the shoes that were there that were. They looked at, they had rhinestones on them. They were bedazzled. Okay?
Right.
They're bedazzled, but they're for men. They're a WNBA shoe, but they're for men. They're floral,
Why
but
is
they're
it
for
a
men.
WNBA shoe?
Because it is a WNBA shoe.
Oh, it
It's a
is?
WNBA star. Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
I thought
So,
we were talking about like
well, we're just talking
the
about
fancy
all of it.
shoes.
So,
Oh, okay.
So anyway, so we were just having a conversation about it, and and what I said was, well, I think that really what it seems like is that they just want to, basically make it where, 20 years in the future, 50 years in the future, whatever it is, we all wake up, we wear the same thing.
Right.
We do the
God, I
same
hope
things,
not.
all
Orange is
that.
not my color.
You know what I'm saying? And so apparently that did not go over well with some
I was
on
going to say,
TikTok. Is
should,
that
should I
right?
play the clip so people can hear the exact,
Well, I don't know that they would hear it through the system, though.
Well, I could put my mic down to it.
You think so?
Maybe.
No.
No, you were good.
Just read
If
it.
you want to go see it, go check out our
Yeah,
TikTok,
yeah.
Patrick and the People. It's
Yeah,
easy to find us.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there was some issues in the comments, and I'll just read them from top to bottom. They've grown a little bit.
Oh, that's great.
So first one was from I'm assuming it's Jesus. That's how you say it.
Okay.
It's obviously
That's
not
Jesus.
Could be
right?
Jesus.
It could be Jesus.
You never know.
don't know, Richard.
He says we need to put tariffs on podcast equipment, 2,000 minimum.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, that
That's-
wouldn't be
that's
Jesus.
Their response.
That's great. Oh, that's great.
Another one, Disfunk, I don't know, says I think they just want us to do whatever we want, bro. LOL.
Okay.
Another one, Dylan McCormick says the thing is, you can do whatever you want. And
Yeah.
So should they. Literally, no one is telling you how to dress or anything. Brandon said no one's telling you to do anything.
That's
do
right.
what you want to do.
That is correct.
And then this is my favorite so far.
Yeah.
Here, let me get down to this one. This one says, oh, what happened? This one says I closed it out. This one said I was done reading comments. This one says, feel like people that worry too much about this secretly want to wear makeup or cross-dress or something. Kind of like homophobic politicians. And then somebody responded to that and said that end up just being closeted.
Man, that is so beautiful, man.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. I'm glad that you've exposed me. I definitely want to be. No, hell no, man. Listen, my brother is gay, and I had the luxury of growing up in a home that was supportive for my brother to be gay. A lot of homes weren't, and my parents were super supportive of it. So I had it apparently runs in the family. So if I wanted gay, I could have been gay. I'm just not. But that's not a
It
problem.
runs in the family,
Yeah,
like
clearly.
it's genetic.
Yeah, clearly it runs in the family, right?
Is it like high blood pressure or something?
Yeah, it's like the tism. You know what I mean? It's like a tism. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let me say, I appreciate
Sorry.
what because dude said, well, yeah, I think they're just saying you can do whatever we want, bro.
Right.
And that's true. No, that's absolutely true. It's really always been true. But if you don't think there's a bigger picture going on, there is a bigger picture. There is look, when they talk about toxic males, okay, have you ever heard toxic female? No, you don't hear toxic femininity. That's not even an expression. Nobody says that. What they say is toxic masculinity. Now, why is masculinity toxic? It's toxic because it's an aggressive, assertive, dominant energy at times. Not all the time.
Right.
But at times, it is a strong, domineering energy. And so if, women, there's no toxic femininity. So if we could just all be like women, we'd be cool, right? Right? No, we would. I don't think we would at all. I know.
We need balance.
I think that there is a
There needs to be a
value
balance.
to masculinity.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with masculinity.
No.
And I don't like that they want to beta all of us out, because at some point you just get run over by tanks when you're all betas. You do need a few alphas in the planet to continue to do things. That's just the nature of the beast. So
Yeah, they're the test subjects.
But don't for a second take that as transphobic or homophobic. I'm neither. I'm very comfortable with it. I'm not, but I'm very comfortable with it. So no. But I don't like the fact that all of a sudden,
Trying to kind of they're trying to lump you into that.
well, I think that there's a bigger picture, and if you look at it, it's not just, oh, we're just doing what we want, bro. No, it's not that. When somebody has one kid that's trans, I get it. But if you have 3 kids and they're all trans,
Yeah.
something's up, man. I mean, come on, be honest about it. The chances are 1 in 200 gazillion billion zillion. There's no way you're gonna have. So
you think it's being like, are you influenced
a
bit?
I think that there's a lot of blurring of lines.
Yeah.
And I think that's an intentional thing. And so
I think I want to know what that is in the middle
what?
on the side of that ad. Is that
that's
it
a
looks,
handbag,
It looks like a
backpack handbag.
it looks like tits.
I don't. It's
The way
not.
that I'm looking at it, it looks like an apron, but they've made
I
it
can
look
kind of
like
see
the,
that.
the
Maybe it's a leather
breasticles.
apron.
Yeah,
Latasha
it just
says.
looks weird to me.
Yeah.
Latasha says I have toxic femininity. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Femininity.
What would that?
What is
What
that?
would that look like?
Yeah,
though?
what does
I
that
don't
look
even know
like?
what that would mean.
I don't either.
I guess you could say, well, even if you were going to say, well, sometimes
all be
right before my
toxic.
period, I get cranky or whatever. Well, that's not even shit. I get cranky on Wednesday, so
Yeah.
that don't even.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I mean
Wow.
that don't even hold.
Am I supposed to take that personally?
No, I'm saying.
Or is it rich?
No, that's not a knock. I'm saying that I get it. That's not toxic.
No.
That's just normal. I mean,
Anybody can be
anybody who
toxic
can
at any
feel
point in
bad
time.
because they're sore and they're
Yeah.
hurting.
Yeah.
That's normal.
We should bring the tens machine back.
No, we're not bringing that damn. Well,
Dustin,
only if
My
it's
next,
on the wheel.
well, my next moon cycle, I think both of us on that Wednesday should sit here with cramps.
No, I'm definitely.
Rich, are you down? You're a man,
Rich,
right?
you want to do that? I did it.
Rich should do it. I want to hear him announce with it on.
It's not gonna happen.
Oh, that would.
All right, let's go. Let's go the other way. Let's do some
About
toxic masculine
dopeheads?
stuff right here. Yeah, let's talk about this.
I'll tell you what. I'm
Hold
going to
on.
tie it in this way. All right.
What?
I will do it if by what you're talking next Wednesday.
Sure.
Next Wednesday. I'll do it by next Wednesday if you get at least $100 donated to the blocks thing.
Will you put that on our social medias?
Sure.
I
Okay.
like that.
All right,
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. We do need that because we're about to go here in a couple weeks, and it's a week in Tulsa. It's a
love
reality
Tulsa.
show that's on Amazon Prime. So we're super stoked about it. We're going to be working with other entrepreneurs in a competition to make our program, this particular show, the best it can be. We're going to work with brilliant minds and compete to win money as well. So if you can help by donating $1, 50 cents, $5, $10, we just need a few hundred more to cover our expenses for the hotel, gas, and food.
Cigarettes.
No.
Oh.
Nobody's funding that. Nobody's funding that. All right.
Well, if they want to.
Well, they could. I mean, that's fine. You can do that. We'll set up a separate one for that. Let's talk about this, though. A Florida woman is behind bars after being found having sex in a historical graveyard. Stephanie Wegman is 46, accused of several drug-related charges, but no charges actually related to the outdoor tryst. But the incident occurred during the afternoon of March 27th at the Wild Cow Prairie Cemetery.
What? The Wild Cow Prairie Cemetery?
That's right, which is described as a
Man.
small county-owned rural cemetery located near Bushnell.
Yeah, but everybody's dying to get in there.
I know that's right. In an incident reported by top folks at People magazine, State Trooper Kelly said he stopped at the cemetery for his canine's benefit. He said,
Wait, what?
yeah, the canine, I guess.
His benefit?
I'm not, I think to pee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's to be my guess, to pee or poop.
Maybe there was a.
Burials
dog.
ended in Wild Cow Prairie Cemetery in the 1920s. It's been inactive since then. He said today, thanks in large part to the efforts of family members and local preservationists, the cemetery has been preserved. The trooper noticed a white Nissan with the windows down.
Of course it was.
No one in the immediate area. So he looked around and observed a white male and female at the rear of the cemetery engaged in sexual activity. 2 other members also made it to the scene and viewed the couple. Troopers then went over, requested ID, which is like, yeah.
Wait, hey, y'all, come see this. Come see this. Let's watch this for a second.
I would just say it's over there in those pants. Go ahead and get it. The couple did comply. They returned to the Nissan. They got their clothes on, got their ID. A 4th member of law enforcement then showed up because now it's a free for all, right?
Yeah.
And they performed a free air sniff of the vehicle along with the K9. And, of course, they found meth, Xanax, oxys, all kinds of stuff. Weed, of course, all of that. So everything you could have, pretty much, they did was a buffet, you know. What do you...
Do you want me to
What?
go let...
No.
Oh,
Do we have guests?
Rich,
I don't know,
it
do
may
we?
be our guest out there.
right,
You
let me
can
go
take a
check.
look and see. What do you think? Is Sex in the Cemetery, is that exotic or is that weird and creepy and dirty?
I've had sex outside in multiple locations to try them all out, and it's just not worth it. I like a bed. I like, you know.
So the cemetery, it's not an exotic
No,
locale
it's
that
not.
you're like,
No.
yeah.
Oh my God, that was so 1995,
Yeah, no, I
or whenever the craft came out.
no,
You know.
yeah, no.
Like,
What do you think, Rich? Just asking you, and of course I shudder to ask a male this because I don't know that it matters. But sex in a cemetery, is that exotic or is that creepy, dirty, nasty?
Yeah, that's creepy, dirty, nasty, man.
That's creepy, dirty, nasty.
it's played out.
You know, as a guy, I'm
boring.
really impressed by your strength.
I mean, you
Yeah,
would,
no,
man?
that's.
No.
Did you say
No.
I would or did you say have I?
Either.
Yeah,
Yeah, no wonder you're so angry.
yeah.
All them,
Yeah, I have.
all them spirits that are following you around, all mad because
Hold on,
you.
hold on.
Did you live through the 90s?
Hold on. Do you know what? Yeah, I did. I wasn't living
I
in
mean,
the
I'm
90s.
sorry,
I
but the
graduated in '88.
Yeah,
Think about it.
I'm sorry, but the 90s was
Yeah.
like prime. Well, the 80s
All
too.
the girls were
80s
What,
and
Rob
90s.
Zombie's
No, no.
Dracula
No,
just
no,
did it for you, man?
No,
goth
we
girls.
were all goth.
It was goth girls.
Yes.
Goth
I mean,
girls.
goth
all
was
smoked-
popular, I
we all
remember,
smoked
but.
Camels or cloves. We
Yeah.
drank coffee. We all went to private school.
And y'all banged in
You
graveyards?
damn straight we did.
Well, let me just say, there's one
It's a rite of passage, Rich. Oh my God.
down.
No, it's a rite of going to hell.
There's one downtown.
Yes, there
okay?
is. Mount Holly.
And it has giant
Yep.
graves from like the I
Yep.
don't know what hundreds, the way back when. And yeah, one time, yeah, in the
Yeah.
90s, yeah,
The one that's right off Broadway.
yes, of
Yeah.
course, yeah, that one, yeah.
You hop on over to Sonic afterwards, get a Route 44.
I don't know if Sonic was there
It
then.
wasn't, but
Yeah, I don't think it was.
this is what you can do now, kids.
Yeah, now you can go to Sonic
I mean, you
and
can
top
probably
it
get
off.
shot
Every
there, too.
time you're just walking along and something like just absolute crazy bad happens, like, I don't know, just a slight annoyance.
Yeah,
Just know that's probably one of the ghosts from one of the graveyards you spread your angry juice on haunting you or something.
well,
didn't spread it on.
I don't know that it was trying to fertilize the grounds or anything. I like that. Right. I'm not even repeating that. Yeah, not even repeating it.
Oh, do you want
All right, here, let's.
I'm just saying, man, that's wrong. That's no.
All right, here we're out of control again.
He
We'll be
said
back.
angry juice.
We'll be back.
I've had enough of the bullshit, and I'm done with the lies. Believe what you say, but don't trust my own eyes. Got caught sleeping when it all started. Had no idea that common sense had departed. The time to talk, oh, it's already expired. But you're still talking that shit, turning my world into a tire fire. I do believe that's just about it. No more insanity. You've been wearing the wrong answer, like it was the king's finest robe. Got a sharpened blade beneath it, just in case somebody gets too close. Oh, I get it, I'm supposed to be towing the line. If anybody asks, hey, everything's fine. The time to talk, still talking that shit, turning my wild into a tire fire. I believe that's just about it. No more insanity. No more insanity. Believe that's just about it. Staring up from rock bottom, do I have what it takes to climb out? Ropes tied, can I unknot them when I'm waterlogged with doubt? 35 seconds gone, I only had 3 minutes. The question is, will I drown? Or damn it, will I finish? This is how anxiety feels. This is what paralyzes me. Why does it take all these pills just to murder anxiety? Time is no friend to me, and it just can't be overstated. Pressure is the enemy. 90 seconds have evaporated. Life is a twisted puzzle I'm trying to put together. Why do I feel muzzled and yet still feel so untethered? This is how anxiety feels. This is what paralyzes me. Why does it take all these pills just to murder anxiety? I don't wanna be a wreck, and I don't wanna be a zombie. Is there a day I don't expect? It's coming down around me. This is how anxiety feels. This is what paralyzes me. There has to be something more than pills just to murder anxiety. Is there a day I don't expect? A day I don't expect. 30 seconds left. Anxiety. Out of time. Anxiety.
All right, we successfully made it back, and here in just a few minutes, we're going to have a really exciting guest on. Man, he has been I know he's been a black belt since 1989, but he has quite a career list of accomplishments. He's got a school locally where he teaches, jiu-jitsu, self-defense, and we're going to have him on the show, and you're going to learn more about him, and maybe I'll get him to execute some moves on me so you can see kind of how that works.
Hey, there we
Make
go.
myself a little bit of a guinea pig there. Anything in the comments?
Man, they are lighting them up this morning.
Hey,
In
what's
fact,
up, Luke Shoemaker?
I was just going to say, Luke said, what's up?
What's going on, buddy? Mr. 4 million plus
I
views
know,
and counting
he's such
now.
a badass.
A lot of comments about Amanda and her
Her lobster.
her new things over there. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
calling her.
toys.
Brandon, what was I supposed to be looking up to see if something was accurate? I'm lost on that one, but I will say Latasha, yes. Yellow Wolf is adorable. And BT Dub, he actually has a print of one of my tattoos hanging in his tattoo shop.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Is it your tattoo or a tattoo?
No, it's a tattoo that's on me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Sean Skelton said, what's up?
What's up, Sean?
We have a spammer in the chat.
Oh, always
love
good to have
spammers.
Yeah, well, I love the bots.
Bundy says, Amhanda.
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 Oh,
Yeah, that's great.
What about Outlaw and Robbie Shirley, Rob Fathers?
Oh, the Rob Fathers in the house. What's
Good
up,
morning,
Rob
everybody,
Fathers?
man.
The
Lots of everybody
simulator.
tuning in.
Yeah, that's great, man. I appreciate you guys being there. I know, Rich, that you drove a cab for a while, so you probably understand Uber
Oh, yeah.
better than
I did
lot
that
of
a little
people
bit,
would.
too.
You did that as well.
Yep.
Uber released its annual Lost and Found Index. That's the items that are left behind in rideshare cars, including,
Vapes.
well, mannequin heads, buckets of
Yes.
beans. Let's go through it.
Puke.
A 2025 Uber Lost and Found Index released Tuesday revealed the most commonly left behind items. You could guess phones, keys, and wallets, right? New York City named the most forgetful leaving items, but they did have a unique items list, one of which included a mannequin head with human hair. Yeah, a chainsaw.
What?
Yeah, somebody left their chainsaw.
No.
A Ghostbusters ghost trap.
Oh, y'all need that.
Now, how are you
do-
going
I
to leave
do
your
need that.
Ghostbusters ghost trap? I mean, that costume's not cheap. I know
Especially
that.
after all the
Well,
stuff
and I
you all have
mean-
done in graveyards. You need a Ghostbuster ghost trip.
Well, and how unthinking. I mean, you could unleash the
Yeah,
apocalypse
you
with
could
that.
do
How
that. That
dare
is
you.
true. That is
Luke.
true. Yeah.
I love Luke. Go Luke.
No, he said, sorry to interrupt
Oh,
you. He
no,
said,
you're
one of my good friends out here is best buds with Yellow Wolf. Says he's a super
Oh, yeah.
nice guy. You know, Luke
Oh,
and his
yeah.
name dropping.
No, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Is it Corey or Ben
Corey
or,
Taylor
you
or
know,
Ben.
just
Yeah,
Kevin,
All right.
no, I get it.
mean,
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Adam or it's Brent maybe.
Bet Luke's coming with Blink 182.
Definitely
He's gonna be in the back.
coming. He
He's like,
is.
I mean,
You just got a
my
phone with
buddy
Travis. Fresh breast milk they left in the.
Ew.
You know, I mean, did you just do it in the Uber?
I bet she was so upset about
A
that.
live turtle,
Shut up.
a urinal. How do you leave a
How do you
urinal?
leave a urinal?
What, in the trunk?
I
Is
mean,
it
I guess
like
if you
a-
just got out of
like a
like the
medical
hospital or
one?
something.
That's
15
nasty.
different hookahs.
15.
Well, not at one time, just
Oh,
different
oh,
times.
okay.
A bouquet of 100 roses. How?
Oh, damn.
Ozempic, 10 live lobsters, a Viking drinking horn. You know.
That was a good night.
That's the one right there.
That's the one.
They still talk about that goddamn horn. Where is it, man? That horn was a legend. It was epic, man. They were so drunk that night. It was the best night of their lives. Man, you should put that on social media and let people come find. They need that back. A taxidermied rabbit,
Want it.
a divorce papers,
Would never leave them.
a 5-gallon bucket of beans, 175 hamburger sliders, 108 eggs, 24 cans of corn, and a bucket of feta. Yeah, that's pretty
What are
wild.
you people
Yeah.
doing?
I mean, I assume they must be either have too many items or they're drunk. You know what I'm saying? Or messed up.
Thank God I'm not.
It's usually the latter.
Now, Rich,
They're messed up on something.
what
or
did
drunk.
people leave behind in your case?
Oh man.
Condoms.
Yeah, I found those. Found bras. Just the wrapper. Yeah.
Angry juice.
The worst one was honestly when I was in Uber. This was back when I had my stepson, and I only remember because I'd gone out Ubering, and it was like a Friday night in Hot Springs.
Yeah.
And I had picked up a group of ladies that were on like a bachelorette party or whatever.
Okay.
And so yeah, they're all having fun, drunk,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
I took
great
them, I
time.
dropped them off. I didn't
Finger
think
banging.
anything more of it. Ended up, was a great night of tips. I was done driving. Okay, that was my final ride. Went home. Next morning, I wake up. Kid gets in the car to get to take him to school or whatever. Apparently, they had left a tiara and some of these like little dick-shaped things.
Yeah.
In the back seat,
Yeah.
all over the back of the car,
Oh,
and
yeah,
my
it's a
kiddo found
bachelorette
those,
party.
and
Yeah, he didn't know exactly what that was, or did you
Daddy, it's
catch
the
him with?
same
Yeah.
Was it candy and he was eating it?
no, it was just like little, whatever, yeah,
Is that what
decorations.
Spit
and-
it out.
Penis pops.
yeah, but Dad, what is this all over your car? And I'm like,
Juice.
see, Daddy was working last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daddy's a stripper.
We're
Okay.
gonna-
That's what's going on. That's the
Rich
easiest
rock.
answer. Yeah.
I work for the Dippendales.
Yeah,
The Dippin'
so-
Come out on stage with
so
a
that
box
was-
of donuts. And
That
stuff.
was probably hard to.
Yeah, that was a little hard to explain. That was, definitely one of the. So we're gonna make a stop at the do-it-yourself car wash vacuum place.
Anybody ever leave money or
Oh, yeah.
anything of value?
Oh yeah, lots of money.
Did they ever come back for it?
No. In fact, I'll tell you, there was a story. This was when the races were in town, and I drove a 10-passenger van. I was like a shuttle.
Yeah, like shuttle bus.
Yeah, because I'd grab people from the hotel and run them down to the track.
Right.
and
so they could
so-
lose their money.
Right. And so I got in, and first call of the day, another driver, he needed a ride. So I was like, man, I'll get in my cab, I'll come pick you up, I'll drop you off at the stand, and then I'll head on out, right?
Yeah.
So he goes and opens up the door of my cab right in the morning. The passenger, I didn't even check it, opens up the passenger door, and he goes, hey, man, you might want this. Somebody from the night before that was in my cab had left a stack of 7 $100 bills, just fell out of their pocket.
Wow.
It was right there next to the door, and we split it with him halfway. I was like, hey, man,
Yeah.
thanks for being honest. Here you go.
Yeah, you take some of
Wow.
that, I'll take some
Yeah.
of that. Sounds
yep,
good.
Here you go. Here you go.
Thank
We
you for
won't
your
say another
honesty.
word
Let's
about
take it.
this. And
Now,
yeah.
did you ever have, people get start losing clothing in the back seat before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of stories.
Yeah, well,
oh, yeah.
I
You wanna
that's
hear
the-
them all?
Do you
well,
know
we're
us?
here right now. It's a very convenient time. I have some time right now.
There was one lady that we went and picked up, and she was on her way to court, and she
You
wanted
say
to stop.
we,
Well, I mean we as a company. You know, I won't
Okay,
say who the
okay.
driver
Now,
was.
Now,
but
this is
yeah.
still in the van.
Yeah, this is just a regular cab ride.
Okay, get in the cab. Okay.
So we pick up this woman. She's going to court. She needs to stop at Walmart and pick up a dress. She wants to, look nice for court.
Sure,
Okay,
sure,
great.
right.
So cab driver drops her off, waits on her there. She gets back in the car. He's driving through the parking lot. He notices everybody's staring at his cab. Like, as everybody's, eyes glued on it.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to figure out what's going on. He finally looks up in the rearview mirror. This woman is literally completely naked in his back seat, changing clothes.
Oh, wow.
Driving through the Walmart parking lot, everybody can see her.
Oh, wow.
And he just turns around and looks at her and goes, "You have to put those away."
That's great.
Yeah.
That is great. You have to put those away. No, that's great. Now, has it happened in your car or just other people's car?
Well, that's happened in other people's cars. I had as far as my car goes,
Yeah.
when I was a driver.
That's right.
I had one lady, she got in, this was her first day being a driver.
Okay.
And she tells me where she's going. She was an attractive lady. This is middle of the day, by the way.
Okay.
Like, I
Okay.
worked like 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Okay.
Specifically because I didn't want to deal with crazy drunk people or,
I get that.
get robbed, whatever.
No, that's probably better.
So first day I'm driving, and she says, hey, I'm going here, blah, 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 and we're just chit-chatting, small talk. That's how you make your tips. You want to be, personal,
Yeah.
right? So we're pulling up to her destination. It was only a couple miles away, and she hands me a card. She goes, well, here's my number. My name is so-and-so. I'm a call girl.
Oh.
And you ever get anybody in your cab that's looking for a good time, get yourself a little 20% finder's fee and throw them my number.
She had a bird dog fee even.
Yeah, and I was
that's
like,
great.
no, I'm not interested in being a mobile pimp.
Oh,
but-
no, bro. I would have rolled
Really?
on 20% all day.
20%.
20% sounds pretty good depending on the fee. I mean,
Goodness.
I
If
got,
she's offering 20% as a little finder's fee, she's making bank.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's doing
She
pretty
got her
good.
own
She's her
So
own pimp.
wasn't-
Have you ever met any male call boys or whatever?
A gigolo?
All right.
I probably have, but I don't know.
So
Any gigolos out
Oh,
there?
come on, Rich.
I got called down to the Arlington one morning.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Boats and hoes.
That's right.
So this middle-aged dude gets in the back of my cab. He comes out. He's bald. I'm saying like maybe 35. Clean cut, clean shaven.
Yeah.
Not middle age.
Button-up shirt. Okay. When I was driving, it was middle-aged.
Yeah.
You ageist.
All right. Anyways, so he comes out, button-up shirt, gets in the back of my cab, tells me where he's going. I said, all right, cool. And he says, hey, don't turn around for a minute. And I'm like, well, why? Like, what are you going to do? Try and rob me or something? Just let you know. Like, I do carry.
Jacking off.
Yeah.
All right. What are you doing in the back of my cab?
Yeah, angry juice.
All right. He says, no, man, I just got to change my clothes real quick.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, cool. Do your thing. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Go for it. And I'm thinking, I just picked him up at the Arlington. That's a pretty nice hotel in Hot Springs.
Right.
Again, I'm still new to the area here.
They still
Yeah.
got an hourly.
Right, so I'm thinking, spilled a little coffee on a shirt or something,
Something.
whatever. All right,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we're driving along. All of a sudden, about halfway through the trip, from the back of the cab, I hear, okay, I'm ready. And I stopped in the middle of the street. I looked back, and I said, damn it. He said, don't turn around. This dude that got in my cab, clean cut, clean shaven, button-up shirt,
Yeah.
now has on a blonde wig, makeup, skirt, stock, the works.
Oh, he
Completely
went
changed.
full swap.
Good for
Completely changed.
Them.
Yeah.
Says, my name's Brandy. What do you think about this? I said, I think I'm gonna have to charge you double for having a whole nother person in my cab.
No
This ain't
shit.
multiple personality day. What are you doing?
Look at Rich being inclusive.
All right.
Wow, man! That would be
That one was that was the craziest.
That sounds
pretty
like the
wild.
beginning
Like-
of a Stephen King book.
It really does.
I was like, and again,
or a
look,
documentary
if
on the
that's-
ID channel.
If that's what makes you
Chris
happy, that's
Hansen.
what floats your boat or flips your skirt or
it's-
both, and that go for it. But give a dude some warning first, man.
Yeah,
He
no,
told you not to turn around.
I mean, yeah, but that doesn't say, hey, by the way, the next time I talk to you, I'm gonna be a completely different gender.
No, I'd like to know that you're about to swap out like that. If you're going full different, you're going to look different when I look in the mirror. I need to know that.
Yeah, you're gonna come out a whole.
Also, if you're going to put on a devil costume, if you're going to put on a Bigfoot costume, anything like that, that's going to. Yeah, no, I need to know.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let me make mention of this. What is today? Wednesday?
I don't know
Yeah,
anymore.
no, it is Wednesday. So why don't you go over to Stone's Throw and take advantage of some of the great things they've got. 14 different beers on tap today. If you tell them that we sent you, you get 10% off all food over there. And they've got Slater's Alaskan Dumplings running it. It's 402 East 9th Street. They've got a patio outside. You can go inside, but if you like craft beer and you like draft beer, that's what he's got. Craft and draft, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Craft
get
and
over
draft.
there and see him. So obviously you have a son who's he just graduated. Is that right?
No,
Or
he
close to
graduates
it?
this year. We're
Okay.
hoping.
And Rich, you have
We'll see.
one that's much younger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how old is your youngest?
He's 6, about to be 7 in June.
6, about to be
Bless.
7 in June, man. So I think that both of you would have interest in a take on this story, but having kids is, of course, to many people very rewarding or meaningful, but I'll tell you what, it isn't cheap. It's always been pretty costly, but boy, here's the newest study that estimates raising a kid. Now, this is in Massachusetts, but it costs nearly $36,000 a year. That's the most expensive state. Mississippi's the cheapest.
$20.
Yeah, no, that's close, right? No, it costs less than half of that there. When you add up the cost over 18 years, about $439,000 difference. But based on this research, here are the estimates of the biggest expenses in raising a kid today. Your housing, 29% of your cost.
Okay.
And if you think about it, if you only had a 1-bedroom,
Yeah.
it's much cheaper than a 3 or 4 or 5. For
Well,
sure.
and then you think about, where you would be looking to
Live?
Yeah,
Yeah,
school
because
district,
if you're a
gated
couple,
community.
you might be down
a
at the river
condo,
market.
yeah.
But if you got kids, the river
Yeah.
market may not do.
Yeah, you want Robertson,
That's right,
whatever
that's
it
it,
is,
the
Don
Don
Roberts.
Roberts
Yeah,
area,
you
that's
want
right.
them folks.
Yeah.
And that shit's expensive.
So the next most expensive thing, child care and education, 16% of your cost.
Yeah.
Can be 30% depending on
Get it?
where you go to school.
Mm-hmm.
Food, 18%. Yeah, especially boys that are teenagers.
Seriously.
Sometime from about, let's say, 12 until about 17, they only live to eat
Yes.
or sometimes hump.
Or both.
Yeah.
At the same
Maybe at the same time. I don't know.
I don't know what you do in your room.
Let's see. So you're spending apparently between $1,000 and $1,600 a month on food.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Very much so.
Transportation, about 15% of your money. You're probably taking them to school. You're taking them to
Right.
taekwondo. You're taking them to
You're
soccer.
taking drives so that you can forget that you have children.
All of that.
All of
yes.
that.
Healthcare, 9%.
That's your marijuana.
Yeah,
Your medical marijuana
could
right
be,
there.
Could be. Miscellaneous like birthday parties, sports fees, 7%.
That's the other stuff you're buying.
And then clothing, 6%. That is a lot of money, though. For raising a kid. I mean, it is expensive. Child care.
I mean, it is.
Is super expensive.
What always gets me with any of these studies is like where they talk about how much housing should be. Like, and I've heard that before from like, I think it's the dude that writes like
Oh,
Rich Dad
Dave
Poor Dad.
Ramsey.
Yeah, or
or
whatever.
the
Yeah,
other
Dave
guy.
Ramsey.
And then the Rich
That
Dad
says
Poor
like
Dad,
your
the other guy.
income should be like, or you should
Right.
only pay like
Dave Ramsey's an
20%
idiot.
of your income for. Well, and that's what I was getting at. That you should only pay. And like when they say that, I hear that, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds great and all. And I was just doing the math here. If 29% of my income that I make every month went
Covered your
just to
housing.
housing, which I assume when you say covers housing, I assume that means like just my rent.
Yeah.
Like
well,
not even electricity,
I would
just
think
my
it would-
rent alone.
Right, it could be, yeah.
It
okay.
says based off of my income, that should be about $611.
Yeah, there's a trailer that is burned down out at the
Yeah.
inside Peters Road in Jacksonville. You could do
Peter.
that.
Exactly. Like that's not even going to get you a Fisher Price Playhouse and a 3-bedroom, 2-bath pothole.
You're not even going to get a shed from Home Depot.
No, 600 is not going to do it anymore. It used to at one point, but no, it definitely wouldn't do
But
it.
that's what gets me. So like they
So-
come out with this study and they're like, "Oh, that's what you okay. Make it possible for me to do that then."
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you know, housing literally doubled basically in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it really did. And when if you go to lease a home right now or rent a home,
Yeah.
you know, it used to be you could pick up the phone and you call and you talk to owners, you know, and
Right.
so you could talk to them, get a feel for them, build a little bit of a rapport with them, and
Yeah, kind
maybe-
of get to know your landlord.
maybe get a chance to get in there even if you'd had some issues before, right?
Right. Yeah, not anymore.
Now, not anymore. Now it's almost all property management. They all have certain requirements, and if you don't meet them, what are you supposed to do?
Right.
You know, go to a flop house, I guess.
And
I
you
don't
know, another thing that gets me on that same token, because you do have so many companies like that, and they all require application fees
Yeah.
just to apply for them to have so many criteria. You can blow $500 on just applying for an apartment to live at.
Oh no, I
Blow.
think that's the biggest. I think application fees are one of the biggest ripoffs there are.
100.
Yeah.
I mean, you want us to apply. You need us to apply
Right.
in order for your business to operate.
Right.
Why are you charging me? This isn't a Disney ride.
Right. Right.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's a money grab. That's greed.
Yeah.
That's hoe shit.
And that-
But it's ridiculous.
that- it is.
And that's what we, you know.
A bullshit? A bullshit.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
just,
That's why you have to squat.
yeah.
Rich.
I mean,
That's why you have to do that. Yeah, just go to West Little
Sorry,
Rock.
that's the penitentiary.
Yeah, go to West Little Rock. Find one that you know has been on the market a little while, and just go move in.
well, and that's another good point. Like Latasha said, she had someone try to charge her $90 to watch her son for 8.5 hours. She said someone making $11.25 for 8 hours, that's $90. You're making it impossible for people to survive charging that money.
Yeah, no, it is. You know, but childcare has always been outrageously expensive. I mean, it was outrageously expensive even when, you know, I had Noah there, and that was, I mean, he's 26 now.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it is expensive. You have to have there's a certain threshold where it pays to go to work and a certain threshold where it doesn't.
Right.
Because, you know, that was something Laura and I would often evaluate when the boys were younger is how much would it cost, how much would you make if you go to work, how much would we spend for them to go to childcare, how much would it cost here, and then we'd evaluate what we thought was a better investment at the time.
And that's absolutely and I'm glad not only for you but also
Well,
for
you
your
can't
kids
do
they
that.
right. Exactly. And that's what I was
But
going to
that's
say.
what
not
they
to
make
take
fire
away, but-
stations for. You drop them
No.
off there, Rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Little baby box.
You never one time dropped your kid off at the fire station? Said, I'll
No.
be back in a little bit.
No.
Just put
My
a
baby
note.
daddy's mom
Just
did
just
that.
pin a note to his collar.
Never.
And it just says, I'll be back in a little bit.
Just
Thanks,
show him the
guys.
sirens. Give him one of the
Rich.
plastic hats. Yeah.
You know, in some of the countries back in the day would leave the kids out in the cold, you know, the babies out sleeping and stuff.
Like
in
the
cold.
dogs?
Yeah, like the dogs.
No, I didn't know that. Where at?
Yeah, like,
Well, I mean, I could see it in
Europe?
third world countries.
no.
Oh, Really?
Yeah, the fancy ones.
Really?
Yeah, it helped build their immune systems.
Well, it would probably work.
But apparently back in the day, nobody snatched babies. I don't know.
Well,
I mean, it's just like the market. You could go like, oh, let me see this one. I don't know. You know?
yeah,
oh, that one's got a cleft foot. And I don't want
again,
it.
I'm shocked that all of the kids in my neighborhood weren't abducted because we were never supervised most of the time.
It's interesting.
You know, so I don't know if we were just in the right neighborhood not to get abducted. If we weren't desirable,
I was gonna say.
you know, I feel a little bit like maybe I wasn't desirable enough,
may
which
not
kind of
have
makes me
been.
feel bad. You know, I want to be desirable enough to be abducted. I just don't want to be abducted. You know what I mean? I want someone to look at me and think about it,
I mean,
but not do it.
Yeah. I
Somebody
understand
did.
that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody
Who
did.
doesn't want to be abducted?
I mean, no,
A little
I
bit.
want
Just
to
a little
be
bit.
abducted.
Well,
No,
just a
I don't
little
want
bit.
to be.
You want to be that desirable. You want somebody to be that
Yeah,
obsessed with you.
yeah,
Somebody
yeah.
loved me enough.
I
so
mean-
they would. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, stalk me.
I would.
You know?
Kool-Aid.
I
what?
thought I really thought so
Kool-Aid.
until I've been stalked, and then you're like, no,
No,
this isn't
no,
cool
that
anymore.
actually isn't cool at all.
This really isn't cool anymore.
No, I've.
Well, the '90s made it look really cool. There were the songs, the videos. You
Yeah,
know,
every song in the '90s was codependent
yeah,
as hell.
fuck
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, no, they
Love
were
y'all
all
mean that.
codependent.
Yeah.
Can't live without you.
Creepy.
Gonna take myself out. You know,
Stalking. We're all
That's
in the
grunge,
rain.
grunge came in and everybody was sad.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, even you know in the
Well,
80s,
we just quit stalking and just started doing drugs
even
and
the
trying to slit our
sad
wrists.
songs in the 80s were upbeat.
Oh hell yeah.
You know, the 80s, every song was had a great beat. You might be sad as hell, but you had a fat beat
Hell
under it.
yeah, you
Then
did.
the grunge came and it's like, oh shit, let's do some
let's
heroin,
do heroin.
everybody.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
let's
I
all
was
go
like,
slit our wrist and puke. Like,
All right,
okay, apparently Brandon's thought about abducting you.
Brandon,
How?
he is mobile.
He is
He's very mobile. I mean, he could just scoop me up in the chair, and there's nothing I could
Be like,
do.
does this smell like chloroform?
Especially if it was motorized. You know, I'm not going to outrun him, that's for sure. Anyway,
Have you heard of these new claw machines? So I saw
The
this.
new
Why,
claw
yeah, I don't know why this made me think of this, but
Because of your claws?
no. So you know the
no,
claw.
shit,
Well,
boxing
true. That good point. Well, I was thinking about the motorized. So we all know the standard claw machine. You know, it
Yeah, the-
screws you over every time. Yeah,
I
well,
love
this-
those machines.
Right, I do too. Well, this new one has water. And
Water?
yeah, and I guess it was like maybe like a gold digger kind of thing, but it had like all these different rocks, and there was the white ones, and there's the red ones, and the blue ones, and they're different sizes, and it goes around in this water, and you dunk the claw in, and it's almost like a scoop, you know. I'm sorry, that's me trying to wake my son up. But like a dozer scoop, or not a dozer.
Okay,
but-
like a
yeah.
bulldozer
Yeah,
or
yeah,
a crane.
Yeah, crane. And so it goes down, and like the water is like kind of pushing the stuff in, and you scoop up, you know, the stones or whatever, and you put it over here, and then it weighs it, and it gave you, you know, however many tickets or whatever. But I was like, I will can play that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
can
feel
you
like I
get
would win more.
prizes though?
Yeah. Well, you get tickets.
Oh,
You
see, I want
just-
the tickets. What are you going to buy? A spider ring?
Yes. That doesn't fit.
No. Look at the Star Wars figure.
And,
yeah,
and Taffy.
wax.
And Taffy from like '84.
Yeah, no, I know. I need to win stuff. Now, that's the one thing I do like. I did on the cruise ship is I kept feeding that damn machine money where you
Yes.
can, you know, put the coins in and
Yes.
you get so many of them and then it pushes them out.
Oh, yeah.
Now
Oh,
those
that's
are
the
fun to
one, yeah.
play. Yeah, those are fun to play.
Man, those will really have you convinced you can win.
No, and I never win.
No.
I've never. I mean, I've literally never. I've had a slot machine pay $2 or $3 once, but I've never.
Playing around
never
with
won
slot
anything.
machines then, man.
Am I?
Yeah.
Where do you go?
Well, I've gone to Oaklawn mostly, but yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of gambling,
most I
my
ever won
favorite
was, like-
scratch off is back.
There, you have a favorite
I
scratch
do
off?
have a favorite scratch off.
What is your favorite scratch off?
Loteria.
Loteria. It's back.
It's back.
How much does that one go for?
I mean, $3.
Oh, so it's a low yield.
Yeah, but it's so much fun.
I see the people who buy the $20 tickets usually get.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah,
do that.
no,
They get a lot of.
I'll get a
50s and
20.
100s.
Yeah, I've gotten a $20 one before and then just use it to.
Y'all-
I'm on a roll right now with just using my cards to buy more cards.
Laura's done that before.
Hell
Because you know I've worked everywhere. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked at a gas station, and there used to be like so many. Like if they'd come in and ask, "Is the ticket on this number? Is it an even number? Is the arrow pointing down? Is there a line on it?"
Very regulated.
Dude, they have. Well, no, those are all like secret tips and tricks on like which are the
you mean
winners.
That's what
and-
they're asking.
Yeah, they're.
Really? Because they think that this is what matters.
Because they'll come in and be like, "Well, what number is what number on the roll is number 15 on?"
Oh, I know.
And if
They're
it had,
so
like-
smart.
So they're
if it
like,
had the three I remember was if it had an even number on the back of the ticket. So like they'll number the tickets in the roll, 1 to
Okay.
100.
yeah.
So if it had an even number, if it had an arrow on the back pointing down, and if there was a little like black line on the bottom.
Why don't you ask Grok?
Right?
Ask Grok what's the best way to buy a scratch off ticket? What are there
Somebody
any
else's money.
particular things that would make me lean towards one over another, other than odds.
What
of
is
course.
what's this? I just see you're the dumbass.
Well, now this is interesting. This is a local post, and
love
somebody
local
shared this with
posts.
me from Facebook. So this lady here it says, so if you see the post I've shared about the thief stealing the packages from
Oh yeah, that's
Jason's
been all
cousin
over.
Jeremy, she was posted in the Saline County Sheriff's site for her arrest
Oh
warrant.
shit!
The thief
Pull these hoes up.
decided to send me a message and now blowing up my messenger, LOL,
Oh, even better.
calling me hungry, hungry hippo and back fat Betty,
Oh, that's a good one.
LMAO.
I'm sorry, back fat Betty is a good one.
Yeah, she said she's gonna FAFO with someone.
Let's FAFO.
But listen, here's the thing that was so funny is I was looking at what this lady sent,
Right.
and
So
she's-
this is the all right. Back
the-
just a minute.
yeah.
So this is the lady that got because this has been all over like Benton
Yeah.
and everything.
yes.
So the lady
pulling it
that's
up.
been the porch pirate or whatever
Right.
got caught
Yes.
and
Yes.
now is messaging the original poster.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to
Yeah.
be sure.
So
okay.
the alleged porch pirate just sent a text said dumbass, and the person responded
dumbass.
back, "You're the
You're
dumbass.
the dumbass.
You're stealing
Sorry.
from people, right?" And I, okay, you just got to keep it real there. Hold on one second. Why did that happen? Okay. It says you're a dumbass to be married to a wannabe Barney Fife and a cyber bully who'll get what's coming for you. God said, "He who is without sin cast the first stone." I've
Hey,
also
don't
heard
bring God into
people who
this.
live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Put that up your non-sinning ass and spin.
Wow.
I said, lady, you're the one who got caught, not me. Cameras are everywhere.
Seriously.
Eventually, you're going to FAFO with someone who ain't playing with you. She said, you nor Barney are perfect.
You're having
But
struggles.
I'm
on
like,
Facebook
hold on,
right
lady.
now.
Are you really? You just got
Right,
busted
you're
as a
trying
porch
to-
pirate, and you're trying to say, hey, I sin just like you do?
Yeah,
No, but you were
that's
stealing off my porch. Are you
wow.
crazy?
How
much
much
gold?
did you smoke?
I mean, and you're texting her.
Wow.
It's like, man, that's crazy.
Man, there's a. I
Isn't that wild?
how can you? Where's your thought process?
I know,
in
right?
that?
All right.
No.
Amanda, will you let our guest come sit down right here so I can put him and Michael right here real quick? Thank you so much. Let's do a song super fast. We'll be right. Matter of fact, let's do this first, then a song. How about that? You know what? As a real estate agent, I've seen lots of homes get caught up in probate. That's when somebody dies and they don't have a will. And the next thing you know, siblings are arguing over houses, possessions, cars, things like that. That is a nightmare you don't want any part of. You're going to need some help. You need someone with experience. You need Riggin Law. Okay, RigginLaw.com. Kristen Riggin there and her team are amazing at guiding you through this process. Look, you want to get what's coming to you, but you don't want to have to fight with everybody to get it. Just get Kristen to do the work for you. Go to RigginLaw.com. When you have questions, you have concerns about an inheritance, about anything like that, RigginLaw.com is the solution. Check them out. Have you been injured? You need an attorney with a passion for people and an obsession with justice. That attorney is Tim Reed in Little Rock. Look, they've won $1.3 million in wrongful death, almost $1 million in medical malpractice and in insurance dispute. These guys know what they're doing, but more importantly, he's not a figurehead of some kind. He's not just some person on a poster with a picture of a rig or a smile or his dog with him. This is a real guy you can text with, you can talk to, and who will take good care of you. He'll work with you personally to get what you deserve. Check out reedfirm.com, reedfirm.com, or give him a call, 777-7333. All right, we are back and got a great guest in the studio today. Listen, my guy Gunner, Danny, sent me a list of your accomplishments, and it would take the rest of my show to read them. They're so numerous. So this is Danny Dring, and Danny is a martial arts, I would say, expert, a tactician. He is very skilled, won many championships, many titles, and as well has a school on Kill Avenue. How are you, man?
Man, I'm doing great. It's awesome to be here today.
Man,
Thank you.
it's great to have you in. So, you know, I saw that you became a 4th degree black belt in 89 or 98? 89, wasn't it?
89, I believe.
89, yeah, because I graduated in 88, so I'm right there with you. So you were, you know, from a young age, you were already involved in combat type sports or activities.
Yeah, I actually got to do a little bit with my father as a child, and that it gave me a taste. At that time, my father worked for Channel 7, was
Okay.
on their personality, and
That's very cool.
we're going back when there was no cable, so it was 4, 7, 11, and
That's
if
right.
you had the antenna just right, you might pick up Channel 2.
Yeah,
You
right.
know,
You get your little Sesame Street in your life.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. So, but at that time, the school we were at, we lived in North Little Rock, and it was way across town, out Mapleville Pike.
Yeah.
And Dad's hours changed at the station, working the booth, and so that ended that phase of my that early phase of my martial art career. But it gave me a taste, got me interested, and then I was able to get back into it senior year of high school, and then, as they say,
Never look back.
never look back.
Yeah. So you know, would you say? I mean, I don't know. I guess you've made a career with martial arts. Is that an accurate thing to say?
Oh, for sure. I'm blessed. I've traveled the world. I've published a book. I've competed in Athens, Greece. I competed in Moscow, Russia.
That's
Rio
amazing.
de Janeiro, Brazil. I fought on ESPN. I've, I'm teaching all over the country. I was in North Carolina weekend before last. Tomorrow I fly to Manchester, New Hampshire. There's a big martial art camp up there. They fly me in for, so I'm going to be teaching in New Hampshire. Then I'm taking a group of guys to train in Brazil in a couple of
Oh, yeah.
in June. So I'm taking a big group of guys down to train in Brazil.
At what age did you actually look in the mirror and go, "Man, you are a badass, aren't you?"
You know, I don't think you really do that. I think of, I want to be proficient. That idea of being a badass, guys that are badasses get shot or they end up in jail.
Okay, that's fair.
know?
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, so my deal is to be proficient, and I think the older I get, the more humble I get, because you start realizing your parts don't work as well as they did when you were a
it's-
kid.
That's very true.
You
man.
know, I
boy,
mean,
don't I know? I'm acquainted with that.
Yeah. So as I kind of continually age out, I mean, you can be an athlete your entire life. I've got a guy that trains with me that's going to go to Brazil with me. He's 87 years old. He's still
Wow.
rolling around on the ground doing
That's
jiu-jitsu.
great, man. And
He
good
does-
for him.
Does pull-ups with me, Mr. Perry. Shout out to Bob Perry. He, what a guy. But, you know, our competitive athletic careers, you know, typically by your time you're in your early to mid 30s. And so for every guy that's in a combat sport at the age of 40, there's a million that couldn't do it.
Right. No, I can imagine that for sure, because it does take an amazing amount of conditioning. Let me ask this. So, you know, what was the moment, though, in your career where you just went, "Man, I can't believe this is my life"? What was that moment? Because you've had so many cool ones.
I think when I made that conscious decision when I was in college that, you know, if I could just train enough, I might get good at this stuff. You know, I mean, you kind of go from going to class and I graduated from North Little Rock Northeast, which doesn't even exist anymore.
Right.
But then I went to Baylor down in Waco, Texas, and was pre-law. I mean, in high school, I did speech and debate and speaking and stuff like that. And I was going to be an attorney, and then I realized, man, I don't it's not what I want to do.
Right. I don't like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and so I started training. I came back to Arkansas and finished up my college career at UALR, and got a job at the martial arts school I'd been that I started at first. You know, there's a guy named Jimbo Teen owned.
Oh yeah, Jimbo Teen's Naughty Body.
Yeah.
He had the Nautilus, Jimbo Teen's Nautilus.
He
that
for
was
sure.
real big. Yeah.
I was probably the last person to actually get a black belt from Jimbo Teen.
Okay.
You know, he kind of transitioned into the American Billing Company, divested himself of all of his health clubs
Right.
in martial arts. So I actually bought my school from Jim.
Oh wow.
And it was when I was going to college, and then I got the job, and then man, I thought, you know, if I could do this enough, and the only way I figured I could do it enough to really get good is if I did it for a living.
Yeah.
And so it was in my college time, and I became focused. That's what I wanted to do.
That's pretty awesome, man. That's pretty awesome. So, you know, everybody loves to watch, you know, movies where people use martial arts, right? I mean, but we know a lot of it is choreography over actual, you know, how it would work in the real world. But,
For real.
But if you were, you know, analyzing movies, and I would think over the years you've probably seen a few, which characters or movies would you think it's most realistic in?
That's man, that's a great question. I'm a big fan of the John Wick.
Okay.
Some of the John Wick movies. I think his synthesis of jiu-jitsu and judo and a little bit of like Muay Thai type stuff and the gunplay, I think is you know, I mean, I don't think it's realistic when you fight for 40 minutes.
Right, but
nonstop.
you're saying that the maneuvers and the things that happen are actually, as sensational as the movie is, those are grounded in some kind of reality of physics.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's trained really, really hard as a martial artist, and he's worked really, really hard. Terran Tactical. I mean, the gun shooting that he does. I'm a concealed handgun instructor, and I'm a reserve deputy with the sheriff's department.
Okay. Well, first, thank you for your service. Much respect for that.
Well, thank you. I've got a lot of years doing defensive tactics, and had an opportunity to go through some really good shooting schools. And I look at that as an extension of my martial arts.
Well, I know that, you know, for Keanu Reeves, that he learned jiu-jitsu or judo, some combination thereof, for The Matrix. And because he was so committed to it, he decided to keep doing it and apparently leveraged it, you know, in several other films.
Oh, for sure.
And I don't blame him. I mean, because it does seem he's pretty good at it.
Yeah, and you figure in these studios, they're bringing in the top trainers. They're
Right.
bringing in really, really good guys.
Yeah.
And he's got the commitment and passion to his craft that he spends a lot of time and has gotten good. I mean, there's
right.
there's no doubt.
No doubt about it. Now, you know, your specialty, would you say, is jiu-jitsu, correct? Is that, or is it a combination of?
Combination of things. So I'm a 9th degree black belt in Taekwondo, and Taekwondo was my gateway drug, if
Right,
you will, into
right,
martial
right,
arts,
yeah.
right? And was on USA teams and fought all over. And then I've cross-trained in tons and tons of arts. Then I just recently got my 9th degree black belt from Bill Superfoot Wallace in his Superfoot system, which Bill made movies with Chuck Norris and Jackie Chan.
Okay.
He was the commentator for the very first UFC.
Okay.
He trained Elvis Presley.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
actually worked for Elvis Presley in Memphis. He was a collegiate wrestling coach. I mean, Bill's known as a preeminent kicker, and yet he's also was a grappler and taught wrestling. So anyway, I've got a 9th degree black belt with Bill. Then I've got a 8th degree black belt through Joe Lewis, and Joe fought the first kickboxing match in America. So when you're talking about kickboxing, Bill was the first middleweight full contact champion, and he retired undefeated. Joe headlined the very first kickboxing match in America. So those guys were, I mean, pioneers in, we probably wouldn't have.
Combat sports of a lot of kinds.
For sure. We wouldn't have the mixed martial art. I don't think we'd have the same scene in America today without those guys kind of being trailblazers. So, kickboxing is a really, really big part of what we do. Then I've got a 7th degree black belt in the Japanese style of jiu-jitsu and a 5th degree black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So I was the first Arkansan to earn a black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Wow.
And I went down to Rio de Janeiro, and I got received at Andre Pederneiras' school. My coach was a guy by the name of Tony Emanuel, and through Tony, at that time, he wasn't high enough in rank to present the black belt. So my coach is Tony Emanuel, but I was honored to have it presented to me by Andre Pederneiras, and he's, just massively famous in the MMA scene.
Right. Now, jiu-jitsu, it's a lot of weight distribution and physics. Is that a fair assessment
really
of what that is? Redistributing, using weight for and against you.
Yeah. Leveraging and being able to use technique, for sure. And it's being able to figure out how do we negate size and strength as much as possible. But I always remind people, hey, look, there's weight classes in jiu-jitsu for a reason.
Right. Now, you can't just take on anybody.
Yeah,
sure, right.
when big and talented meets small and talented.
Big and talented usually win.
Yeah, and small and talented might get hurt,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, that's exactly right.
There's, but it helps.
A lot of people know Michael. He's been on the show many times as a guest. He's a friend of the show. And Michael, you're one of Danny's students. So, sitting here beside me, Danny seems like a really nice guy. However, when you're in class, is Danny this nice? How hard is he pushing you, man?
Well, I mean, he's a mentor and a leader. I mean, his job is to make you as best as you can be as he's teaching you. So he's going to be hard on you training, but you appreciate it at the end because he comes back and says, all right, everyone happy? And and we've become really close as, family, friends type. But he's actually going through his school and everything. I've actually become a better leader myself. So that's how I look at it as a mentor.
Because you are a business leader as well in the IT field.
And so, and that gives you an internal strength.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that martial arts provides is that
kind of it centers, gives a confidence to you that it may not be outwardly seen all the time, but it is kind of, it does give you confidence.
Yeah, but not only that, I got a lot of funny stories with him, but one of the ones we were sitting there on a Saturday, he was like, yeah, any can knock you down. He just took his knee and rammed his knee right into the side of my thigh. I couldn't walk, and he goes, all right, let's go run up Pinnacle.
Yeah.
What's this run thing? I can't walk.
Yeah. No, I look at some, people, when you watch MMA and you watch those leg kicks, people kind of write those off at times. But if you know how powerful those are and how debilitating they can be landed properly, they can really do you in quickly and take your legs out.
Yeah, the Muay Thai, and if somebody hasn't been kicked in the common peroneal nerve or in the right place, it can be really debilitating.
Who do you think some of the best fighters in martial arts are of all time?
George St. Pierre was definitely. He's got to be
he's a goat
on anybody's list.
Yeah, for sure.
And people that had their moment in the sun, because, like I said, Father Time's undefeated.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Chuck Liddell was
the Iceman.
Was huge. One of my favorite early strikers in the UFC, a guy by the name of Maurice Smith.
Yeah.
And Boss Rutan. He was smacking people around quite a bit. I really enjoyed Renzo Gracie.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Renzo had the ability, was, fantastic grappler, but he wasn't afraid to throw hands. When he fought, I guess it was not Matt Hume, tip of the tongue phenomena. Anyway, fought a guy that actually was chewing his leg up with leg kicks.
Oh, right.
And at one point in time, he put his hand up and said, "I'll stand back up, but you're gonna have to help me."
Oh.
Did that in the cage, you know?
That's wild,
And the guy
man.
actually picked him
And
up.
actually helped him. That's wild. Different time,
And
different
then
time.
laid him back down again.
If I can, I just wanted to ask a couple questions. I was kind of
Yeah.
listening here, and while I don't have a large background in the MMA, I focus more on like independent wrestling and professional wrestling in an instance, which we all know there is an element and a lot of great wrestlers of all time. We have an independent guy by the name of Shane Bridges has a MMA background in jiu-jitsu
Oh yeah,
and all
yeah,
that.
of course, I know Shane.
Is that one thing that like kind of is a little bit transferable between the two with wrestling? I mean, learning some of those moves and everything.
So, wrestlers in MMA are doing fantastic, and of course, high school, and then collegiate. And you take a guy that's coming out of a D1 athletic program. I just talked about this when I was in North Carolina. What does it mean to be in a D1 athletic program? Well, when you're on scholarship and a coach tells you, "Hey, you're going to be at the track at 5 a.m." Guess what? Your butt's at the track at 5 a.m.
Right.
And then you got, guys that have degrees or, they're graduate assistants or they're working there that maybe are into nutrition. And so you don't have to worry about what to eat because they put a plate of food in front of you that, hey, you're going to eat this because those guys all have to be on weight and they have to be on point.
Gotcha.
And then they've got coaches that work with them on their running, then they've got guys that are, strength and conditioning, and then you've got coaches and assistants that they're working their college degree to become a coach. They're going to work with you on specialty positions. And these guys are being trained, and they're at a different level. You come out of a program like that, I mean, that's a professional kind of athletic kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And then you take a lot of those guys, what do after their wrestling career in college is over? A lot of those guys will transition into pro wrestling.
Right.
And so, while it may be scripted, the athleticism of those
Absolutely.
cats is on a different level. I mean, just absolutely on a different level. And so you look at somebody like Brock Lesnar that
Yeah,
went
he
into
trade
the-
crossed.
Yeah, and you've seen some guys that go, okay, hey, I'm a good athlete and I can punch real hard.
Right.
And that's one of the things we're seeing with some of the wrestlers in the UFC is that they're not necessarily the most skilled boxers.
Right.
But they hit real flipping hard because they're tier 1 athletes.
Because they're conditioned.
Yeah. And you take a guy that's a good athlete that gets really, really good and go, hey, we're going to add in submissions. Hey, we're going to start working on your striking. We're going to show you how to box. We're going to give you a couple of fundamental kicks, a good leg kick. And then you put them in there, and the aggressiveness that wrestling breeds and that level of athleticism, man, you got a dangerous individual.
Right. Absolutely.
And you have somebody pick you up and slam you and introduce you to the earth rapidly. It can be damaging.
So, man, I think, and I'd love to talk to you more about it too, especially, but I know, I'm a co-owner of Vapors Championship Wrestling is the name of our promotion. We're always looking to, bring people in, man. I think it'd be awesome to, have you come in and do a seminar or something, or just, a little bit of training with our guys.
For sure, that'd be awesome, yeah.
That'd be absolutely cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they draw some great crowds, and their team of sometimes you see these independent wrestling leagues, and some of them are more up and coming, and they're not quite as polished or professional. You know what I'm saying? Rich's group of VCW folks are, some of them are high tier. They're acrobatic. They really do the work. And so I think it would be beneficial to have somebody like you come in with them. I think that would.
No, I think that'd be a great, great team up.
Well, so let me ask you this. Well, first of all, before I ask you to help me with something, if people wanted to find out more about you, about your school, and about how they could get involved in that, how would they do that?
Sure. Find me Living Defense Martial Arts. We have a Facebook page, of course, and livingdefense.com is our website. And we're still available by telephone. Good old phone.
Bell.
Yeah. So 834-3537, area code 501.
Okay,
834-3537.
Living Defense Martial Arts, right?
Yes.
All right, I just tagged it on.
So,
Patrick.
would you mind, just for demonstration purposes, we can go over here and maybe, we could do some very basic things. You could show me that, are jujitsu or defense oriented things.
Sure.
Of that nature. Would you be willing to do that?
Yeah, that'd be
All right,
great.
Rich, you can comment for us while we
All right.
we do this. I think you're used to that.
Yeah, I think I can handle that maybe.
Okay, you do that. Let me switch the camera angle here. All right, man. So I guess, get in front of me there. Okay, so if somebody in your line of work, if somebody were going to punch, what does your punch defense look like?
So if I take and
Man, that was quick. That was speed.
That was so, in fact, you understand, my arm traveled in time.
Yeah.
It's yesterday. for my arm.
So,
let's do this again. Hold
here's
on.
the thing is that a lot of times I tell people there's two kinds of self-defense situations, right? It's either going to be a spontaneous attack like an ambush or it's
Right.
a confrontation.
Yeah.
So if I get into a confrontation, I want to do two things.
Okay.
I'm going to bring my hands up to my head like, oh, and then I turn my hands out because I wish not to get punched in the face, right?
Right.
Because the hand is quicker than the eye. And you're standing there, someone goes, bam, and they hit you. And they
Right.
put it on you, it's kind of a bad day.
Right.
So I get my hands up. And then I want to start kind of getting out of what I call the fatal funnel. I don't want to stand right in front of you where you could shoot on me, take me down, hit me. So I get my hands up and I start moving.
Kind of an angle.
Now, exactly, I want to create an angle. So now when you punch, as you go to throw a punch, boom, I just let you punch me in the elbow and that's going to hopefully break your hand. Then I'm going to run my forearm into the side of your neck and introduce you to my knee, or I'm going to come in and there's the choke.
Night,
Yeah.
That was
He was
almost
choking you right
lazy
there,
time
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was very effective and very fast. So when I swing like this, your block, you throw your elbow.
Yeah, I just bring my elbow up and let you punch me in my elbow.
Okay,
So
I'm
it's
coming in,
more here,
and then
boom.
But you take that.
Yeah. Now, when I run my forearm into your neck, you got a nerve right there. You feel that?
Yeah, is that they call it the Vegas nerve?
No, brachial plexus origin.
Okay.
Okay, and it's by the vagus nerve.
Yeah.
So when I hit, boom, can you feel what that does?
Yeah, I feel it. Jesus Christ.
So
I feel it.
So now, and then I bring the head down and introduce it to my knee, right? I don't like to bring my knee up to your head or bring your head
It's just
to
a
my
friendly
knee.
introduction to his knee.
Then, when I come in here and I make this,
talking?
there's the choke.
Yeah, because you
And-
have all the leverage too. There's nothing I could literally do because that's not like.
You know, he took you
a
down in
regular
2
head-
seconds.
No, I know. A regular headlock like that, but then whenever you had me and I was unmovable. I was immobile.
Yeah.
You know, my arms could not do anything really. I was
Angry
just like-
Patrick, the chicken wing.
No, that's kind of what it was.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so you said there's two kinds. There's the one where you're confrontational, and then there's the other one, which is the other
The surprise attack.
surprise attack.
You know, because sometimes you end up with people, they get their hands on you. You're not always, hopefully you're aware of your environment, right? But bad things can happen and people can come in. So if I turn and I'm like here, and then as I turn and you're trying to sucker punch, like here, now. And I just take it down.
Yeah. No, that did. That was effective. No. So you push behind me with it.
Yeah, so as you were grabbing and trying to punch, I just did a duck under. Now,
But you got my arm over your shoulder.
Right.
That's the key because you can mobilize this arm because I can't really.
yeah, my ear's on your shoulder. It's hard for you to punch me or hurt me at this
Right.
point in time.
so
And
now-
then I clap my hands like good for me, and I bring it down,
Yeah.
and I can just kind of
Yeah.
do the choke and.
Yeah, no, you
Bring you
you
down
have
to
to
the
take
ground.
me down at the point my neck started squeezing. I'd be like, I'm good. I know my ass is beat.
Right?
No, that's amazing. That's amazing, man.
No, seriously,
what,
that's-
What other things do you tell people is just for general readiness? If you did feel like someone was kind of coming towards you, what are
Like I said, when I hands up, because here, if somebody starts swinging and I can cover up right now, this is like a T-bar on a football helmet, right?
All right. Now this is can you hear me in the mic? I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think we're picking you up, yeah.
I watched this movie the other day. It was a movie with Michael Jai White. You know who he is, right?
Yeah, I know Michael personally.
Do you?
Yeah.
He's cool, or at least he looks cool.
He is,
Seems like a nice
and he's
guy.
talented.
Very. But so this movie seemed. I was a little suspect on it, okay, because he was using this form that started kind of like this, and that was the form, and everything was based out of this. Is that a form that?
Yeah, so and I'm not familiar. I mean, I've seen a bunch of his movies. I actually sat on a testing panel when he got his black belt with Bill Wallace.
Really?
And so have had occasion to. I've been in a seminar that he taught. I've had dinner with him and met him
cool,
several times, and he's a phenomenal martial artist.
Yeah.
So being able, there's some stuff that the idea is to shield, right here, and then to be able to cover. So then the idea is to be able to survive the onslaught.
Right.
Right. So if I punch you in your elbow and you're gripped up here, boom, that's gonna hurt.
Right.
You want this hand more connected to your forehead.
I got you.
Here, like this, so that your nose is protected.
Right.
Right. So, but you got to be able to see. So,
Yeah.
yes. Now, if I'm punching and man, my forearms are hitting your elbows, or my fist hits your elbow, then you're able, once you come in, to make contact.
Yeah.
Now, look where this elbow is.
And that's exactly what he did. He did that and that.
Yeah. Now,
And that's how
you're
he-
able to bring that, because
Yeah.
I can
Okay.
lever your head down and start.
So there was some reality to that.
There is definitely
Okay.
some reality to that. There's
that's-
definitely
that's
some
good.
reality to
Okay,
that.
that's wild, man. That's
Yeah.
cool. Man, this guy is great. Danny Dring.
Man,
right here,
yeah.
man. Hey, give it up for Danny, man. That's,
Thank you.
that is awesome.
Super
Yeah,
impressive,
so
man.
happy you're back
Seriously.
on again.
Yeah.
You've got
Oh,
to be
anytime. Anytime.
Yeah,
It's
listen,
a real
if
pleasure.
you are serious, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been slammed by Rich, Rich's buddy,
Jimmy Buffet?
Jimmy Buffet. I've been manhandled a little bit by Nathan Kirby. I've never been immobilized so rapidly nor immediate as that.
Yeah.
That is the most immediate shutdown I've ever experienced in my whole life. And I'm not a small guy. I mean, I'm not big, but I'm not small.
We'll do this, Patrick. Have him do a number one.
Hey, listen, we're not saying Wendy's. What's up?
Yeah. Yeah. So
What's
if you were to grab my wrist, you just reach out and you grab my wrist.
Like I was going to grab
Yeah. So I have these things here now. Oh, sorry, brother. Okay. Do this. That's called tapping. So the minute you feel
I don't
I want you
think,
to tap. Yeah.
Okay.
So tap.
Yeah, no, that,
Those
yeah.
things are
Yeah, no, that's
incredibly painful.
I would never grab your wrist, but yeah, that's probably why I wouldn't. That's very painful. Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
You know, that'll
Those
get
are-
you. That'll get you. That's amazing, man.
Thank you so much.
Man, that's awesome, man. That is awesome. Any more?
Now,
Okay.
just one question with that, and y'all might have covered it earlier, and I know you focus in, MMA training and things like that, but, I mean, just seeing that alone, just that demonstration, like, for just general defense, and I'm thinking the ladies here, but
Yeah.
do you offer a seminar, a class, anything like that? Because that was, I mean, like you said, a man of your size, stature, man, again, like, that was very quick.
No, very and immediate. The impact. It was not. It was not easily defensible for me. Let me put it like that.
Right.
I'd have to work diligently to counter something like that.
Yeah. So I'm working with law enforcement for a long time, and then I do a lot of self-defense. And so the two main reasons why most people get into martial arts is going to be physical fitness and self-defense.
Right.
So I want everything I do to kind of hit on that, and then sports. So there's the there's a guy named Chris Howder. He was one of the Dirty Dozen, one of the first 12 Americans to get a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And he famously said, think street, train sport, practice art. And so I love that. I love that philosophy. The sad, honest truth is, the truth is, look, we're not fighting in the street day in, day out.
Right.
No.
You know, people talk about combat reality and this and that. And I'm like, well, how much combat in the street are you really doing?
Right.
Kinda need to
Everybody
say-
was kung fu.
Yeah.
No, but you just need it that one time. It matters.
Right, exactly. And so I think thinking street keeps you honest. There's an honesty to that. Sport is practical. You know, when we're grappling and wrestling and boxing and doing Muay Thai, man, we're out there banging around and sparring, and it's practical. You know, you're only going to get to thumb somebody in the eye once. and
Yeah,
then
it's
they're-
controlled chaos.
Yeah, exactly. And then art is where you develop. You know, people, that jump 360 isn't practical. No, but it's athletic as hell.
Yeah.
So, your ability to jump and move and roll and flip.
And just because it may not be practical doesn't mean it can't be used.
Correct. And it's also developing up your athleticism, and it's your timing and your distancing, and it gives you an edge when you go back to the street.
Let me put it like this. I would venture to say, and maybe I'm wrong, but practical or not, if Chuck Norris had put a spinning round kick on me, it probably would take me out.
It's gonna hurt.
It's gonna,
Yeah,
it's definitely
hurt.
gonna wake. It's gonna hurt. Yeah, without a doubt.
For sure.
Michael, you said you had a story you want to share.
Yeah, so I just started like a couple of weeks in. The first week he'll come in there, he'll offer all the different classes he offers. Taekwondo, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, kickboxing, and weeping style,
Right.
Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. So you do each of them, and I came in to do the weeping style, which you just saw the one. It was the first class, like, oh, you do the one. You're like, okay, it's
Yeah.
like, and you're like, oh, I don't like playing this game. This
Yeah.
one hurt, out of all of them, that one hurt the most. It's like, I'm not coming back to this class.
Yeah.
So, I was coming every day of the week except that night. And then I was coming on a Saturday, and I came in on a Saturday, and he's like, oh, well, we're going to do a little seminar at Walmart. And I'm like, yeah, demo. And I'm like, okay. He goes, you want to go? I'm like, yeah, sure. He goes, all right. So I'm thinking I'm doing jiu-jitsu, right? Because that's all I've really been doing. So we get there. He's doing all this taekwondo, kicks and stuff. And then he goes, oh, Michael, did you come over here? Grab my wrist. Oh, God. So I went through that, but you went through the soft. You just went through a little. He flipped me around. He was just like, just a string, just rolling me around.
Yeah.
And then I realized the term whopping the floor with you, because that was the cleanest spot in Walmart. Right there. You're just like.
No, that's what I'm saying is, as someone who, like I said, I don't consider myself a large guy by any stretch. I'm fairly average in height. I think I'm 5'10", but I do have a little bit of weight and girth to me, and some muscular tone, and to be so incapacitated so quickly is frightening, actually, because it's so fast. I think it's the speed at which it happens that makes it so disconcerting, because you don't have time to evaluate. If you don't instinctually know how to counter that, you probably are not going to counter that.
Right.
You are just in a bind, all of a sudden waking up going, I am not the baddest dude in this room right now,
Yeah, one of the things that stood out to me when we've talked over the years, like, oh, what would you do? What was your favorite? So I was like, because, he's concealed weapons, sheriff.
Right.
All these different martial arts. You're like, well, what's the one thing you would do if you get out of trouble? I'd run him over. You're like, with all that knowledge, you're running him over. He goes,
Yeah.
You're like, oh, it's weird to hear
sure.
from someone who's got
No,
all this knowledge,
again, it's
right?
practical. Listen, I'm going to try to live the easiest way I can
Yeah,
live.
because the idea is that you don't want to ever punch, because if you break your hand, you're in
The
trouble.
last result is we have to physically combat. That's the last thing I want.
Well,
but if
and
you
I
have
think-
to,
Yeah, and after a while, when you've been around, I've seen, I promoted. I put on one of the first all-amateur MMA shows in the nation. I'm an athletic commissioner, so when I say I've seen a lot of fights, I'm
Right.
talking
A lot.
a lot, and I've seen it go from sugar to something not so sweet, real fast.
I
With one
bet.
punch, and I think and again, like I said, the older you get, I think you get really in touch with your mortality, and you realize, hey, man, there's some young guys out there, and I've seen guys working in the sheriff's department. I've seen guys drunk or on drugs do some ridiculous stuff because they didn't know they couldn't.
Right.
And so
That's true.
Staying humble and training real hard. I just say yes sir, no sir to everybody these days.
No, it's a smart way to go. You know, I mean,
try to avoid it at all costs possible. But if you have to go, then you need to be committed.
Yeah, but you know the great thing about yourself is you're unassuming in appearance, and I don't mean that in a funny or slight way. I just mean you don't come across like I'm here to kick some ass. You have a normal athletic frame. You're not a giant person, but I'm certain you carry a certain amount of confidence with you that some people twice your size wouldn't carry. And that's a great thing to have. Yeah, no, that's amazing. Well, man, this has been actually
Absolutely great.
really cool, and I'd love to have you back more.
For sure.
I mean, it's really cool. Yeah, I'm going to get over this pain for a minute, but but after that, we'll get you booked again. All right, Danny?
Wonderful,
Man,
what a
what
pleasure.
an honor to meet you,
Well,
man.
thank
I
you,
mean,
sir.
thank you for all you do out there because you do a lot in the community, and I'm sure a lot of young people and young men have you to thank for getting them on a path that was better than what they were before.
Yeah.
And that's always great when, if you've got a child that has that aggressive energy in them, and there are, just kids that do, this is such a great outlet to channel that because they don't just learn to use the energy right, they learn to manage their emotions better.
For sure. And I think that combination, so our kids in our gym, they can do both Taekwondo and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The discipline of Taekwondo, which is and I kind of teach an old school, not some of the fluffier. There's just everybody. There's a lot of versions
there's different
out there.
styles, yes.
But I love the discipline of the Taekwondo and then the effectiveness of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And so, when they're answering up and they have a disciplined environment, but they're also out there actually grappling and working and getting that energy out, I think it's wonderful. All my children, I've got 3 kids, they've all grown up in the program, and I've worked with not hundreds, but probably thousands of kids over the course of my career, and I've just seen it do really, really good things. The environment is great.
Yeah, I would be willing to bet, and I don't have any statistics to back this up. I'm literally pulling it straight out of my ass. But I would bet that young people who have been involved not just for a short time, but in martial arts for, let's say, an extended period of 3 to 5 years or more, probably have a higher success rate overall in general.
Yeah,
as a result of that.
No doubt, because it's a grind.
Yeah.
Right? And so people that can embrace a grind and show up and keep coming back after they've been thumped or punched or kicked or grappled or choked, they're going to overcome the thing that life throws at them.
Well, the other thing too I like is that, and I how do I say, I don't want to step on toes, but some people say the younger generation, the attention span is not as great. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That we just don't have that attention span, and so we want everything now.
Right.
We want it right now. We're very entitled.
The TikTok culture, right?
That's right.
Everything's a sound
That's
bite.
right. I can YouTube it. I'm good. I'm Steven Seagal now, right? But I think once you get into that, it changes that perspective so much.
I believe it does. Like in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the ranking, to get a black belt, you're looking at 10, 12 or more years, fundamentally. Some styles you can be a black belt in 2 to 3 years. And so, and nothing wrong with that, right? Everybody's got their own
way.
ethos, right?
Yeah.
So, but the idea is when you're grinding and you're having to keep showing up, it sets you apart from everybody else.
It does because, paying your dues is not something that people, I think, talk as much about these days.
Mm-hmm.
But paying dues is what you're talking about. You do the work before you get the reward.
Well, the thing about BJJ is that you're actually learning it and then you go apply it because you roll with each other. So as much as you're learning, you're still being humble at the same time because some of the other ones, it's just you're doing the movement, which is great, but you don't actually apply it. Where jiu-jitsu, you're applying it right after you learn it.
Right.
And it's constant.
Yeah, you know, either it works or it doesn't, and so you get that real-time feedback in jiu-jitsu. And I can remember, you know, going in and when I first started doing kickboxing and stroking a guy just as hard as I freaking could, and he went and shook his head. And I went, oh, coach said that kill a man, and he don't look dead.
No.
Uh-oh.
Some people have stronger jaws than others, don't they?
Yeah, that was a reality check, and I hadn't come across that because everything was in such a controlled circumstance. Whereas in jiu-jitsu, when you're really struggling, you get that real-time feedback. Now, after years of kickboxing and climbing in the ring and banging, you start getting a better idea of, and I went from looking for the immediate knockout to looking to continuously thump on somebody.
Yeah.
I redefined what my job was, and, and it helped out. But that immediate feedback and that idea too of working for a goal is like what Michael was talking about. You know, there's a lot. I've read articles where kids are coming out of college and thinking they're supposed to be the CEO of the company.
Right, that's right.
And
that's
it's
right.
like, no, you need to get out there on that loading dock.
That's right.
And start learning what this business is all about. And so that entitlement, and you learn in jiu-jitsu and you learn in the martial arts, hey, you strap this white belt on and you work your way to the front of the class.
Yeah, no,
you don't start at the front of the
No,
class.
you can go to the front of the class and you're going to find yourself on the ground real fast. And that's how real life can be sometimes.
That's
It's
the
going
way
to
it
kick you
is.
like that. You got to learn how to maneuver first. Well, what a joy it's been to have you on. You really are an inspiring individual, and I'm thankful to have had you on, and look forward to having you back. All right.
Right. I look forward to it.
Just real quick, let me shout out Rich Rockwell and Amanda for being here. Big thanks to them, and Michael for coming in as well. Really appreciate you guys. You know, you're the best audience in the world.
Shout out to Arkansas Weather Watchers. Thanks
The
for joining
Arkansas
us.
Weather Watchers, great interview. Those guys are awesome. Please put them on your Roku or your streaming device because it might just save your life. We will be back tomorrow, everybody. All right?
Later, y'all.